Electrocast.
Why wait to see if you'll get something you like this Valentine's Day when you can go to BlueNile.com and find something you'll love? Whether you're looking to treat yourself to a little winter sparkle or show a galentine how much you appreciate them, Blue Nile offers a wide selection of high-quality designs, expert guidance, and free 30-day returns for the ultimate peace of mind. You can even design your own jewelry. Right now, save up to 50% at BlueNile.com. That's BlueNile.com.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. From the launch your online shop stage, all the way to the we just hit 1 million orders stage. No matter what stage you're in, Shopify's there to help you grow. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/special offer, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/special offer.
On this episode of Missing the Point, it's our monthly 2-hour Sunday night sports wrap. We'll break down Week 10 in the NFL and discuss the potential for an 8th playoff team to be added to the NFL playoffs if a game is canceled due to COVID-19. We'll discuss the NFL season as a whole, as we've now gone beyond the midway point of the NFL season, and check in on some of our biggest storylines, including Tom Brady's up-and-down first season in Tampa Bay. In the second hour, we have a discussion on if Patriots fans have become the Yankee fans of the NFL, the Celtics' plans for the NBA draft as the NBA season is a little more than a month away, and what exactly the Celtics have planned for forward Gordon Hayward. And finally, we discuss the Week 10 Sunday night matchup between the Patriots and the Ravens, and the Monday night matchup between the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings. But first, this episode is being brought to you by Boxo Crafts. Boxo is an arts and crafts focused kid subscription box. Boxo is a parent-run company that combines creativity and convenience in one monthly package, delivered right to your door. Boxo's premier box, Boxo Holidays, contains 4 separate art projects to get you and your family into the holiday spirit. Whether it's Halloween, Hanukkah, or Easter, they've got you covered with holiday fun. Boxo, we can't wait to see you create. Check out boxocrafts.com and exclusively to our listeners, enter promo code SNSW for 10% off your first order. That's BOXOcrafts.com, promo code SNSW. Missing the Point is a 1-hour weekly, 2-hour monthly podcast recapping the biggest stories in the world of sports with a New England flavor. The show notes and transcript of today's episode can be found in the description box below, as well as on our website, www.mtpshow.com. If you're new to the show, consider subscribing. It's the easiest way to see when we publish new episodes. We are on iTunes, Spotify, Google, and wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to rate us and leave a review of any of our shows. We always appreciate your feedback. Also, be sure to follow us on all of our social medias. All of our links will be in the show notes. And check out our brand new website, www.mtpshow.com. That's mtpshow.com. And now, this is Missing the Point. But it's all relative.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome into the Sunday Night Sports Wrap. We are Missing the Point, which is our new name. We've changed our name, and if you haven't already downloaded that or listened to that episode where Mike and I go through the name, where it came from, and where it's going, I think that's lines from Cotton Eye Joe. Then this is what it is. I mean, we've changed our name to Missing the Point. We've also got T-shirts. As Dave said, it looks like we all work at Best Buy, not a sponsor, so that's a great thing. But I am Joe Malkin, joined tonight by the entire crew: our EP Craig D'Alessandro, Mike Marcangelo, Rayshawn Buchanan, Bob Kelly, and all the way from the left coast, Dave Clarke. As always, guys, been a busy week for all of us, I think, especially with our personal and work lives, and then the rollout of the new name. We kind of Baltimore Colts this one on everybody the other night, where Craig and I got too excited and decided to do it at midnight. It was actually a lot of fun to do. Craig and I, you guys always joke that we talk outside of work. I did see Craig in person today. We were 6 feet apart, so that was great.
You're not.
Shut up, Craig. But again, I am Joe Malkin, joined by the entire crew. And gentlemen, how are we doing tonight? Let's go around. Let's go with Mike first. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing good, dude. I'm just, I think I'm really happy that the first show that we're doing after the name change is actually still the Sunday Night Sports Wrap, because I promise you I would have screwed that up so many times
Without a doubt.
recording it. So I'm happy we're all back together, and I'm ready to get after it.
Mr. Clarke, what's going on, man?
Oh, man, I'm so just pumped to be here. I always love hanging out with you guys. We talk every single day, but it's really nice to get together for the full crew every month. The name change is a big deal. We used to be the Sunday Night Sports Wrap, the SNSW podcast, but what really happened is that Mike was drunk with power because he invented the Sunday Night Sports Wrap, so we had to kind of like fix his electoral college and really get with it. So now we're missing the point. We're a 6-man podcast, and we're kind of a big deal. So like, welcome to the revolution, everybody.
Bobby, what's going on out there?
Yeah, how's it going, everyone? As always, glad to be here. I second those thoughts when it comes to switching this name. We really just decided that we were too big for Sundays at this point, and it was time to move past Sunday Night Sports Wrap and become Missing the Point. So I'm so happy we're here, and I also think it's huge. The first one is technically still the Sunday Night Sports Wrap, if that's not confusing for everyone out there.
We can explain that a little bit too. But Mr. B, what's going on?
Yeah, the teacher is good. Class is in session already. 5 minutes in, but no, doing good, man. Glad we made the name change. We actually agreed on it pretty quickly. Which is it's good, because I feel like we always argue about something, especially when it comes to the game shows. Thanks, Dave. But no, I'm happy about the name change. Happy about where we're going. So the growth is real, the talent is real, and although we're missing a point, we're not missing any talent. So, stay tuned, because there's more to come.
It's a good point, Ray. It's a good point, because what our whole thing is, I think, is that we argue about things that don't matter, but we really nailed it on the things that do matter. Yes. So I second that for sure.
Dave always knows how to bring out the worst in all of us. So, Craig, what's going on?
It's not hard, guys. It's not hard. You're all terrible people.
I second that. It's not that hard.
Craig, how's our EP doing over there as you're about to take a drink?
We're doing very well. We're happy that hopefully everyone likes the name change. It took us an uncomfortably long amount of time to actually settle on a new name, but we did. We're happy with it. And we still got some surprises that people don't know yet that'll be rolling out soon, and we're excited about it.
Yeah, I think just to kind of wrap up the name change part of it,
no pun intended.
Exactly. We were the SNSW podcast, which literally stood for the Sunday Night Sports Wrap, and we were sitting here releasing videos on Thursday and sometimes on Tuesday, and so that just didn't make sense anymore. I think it did to our loyal followers back from our Dean College days on WGAO 88.3 FM. But nowadays we've reached a point where we're going out to so many other places. We've gotten so much bigger, and we really appreciate everybody that listens and pays attention and downloads our episode. And if this is the first time you're watching us, I know we already have a good amount of viewers on Facebook. We appreciate you you tuning in. And again, if you are new, this is what we look like. So if you want to just keep listening to our podcast, this will be released tomorrow morning. Just to throw out a couple more things. So we are missing the point. Our social medias, if you don't follow us already, are on Instagram _missing the point, Twitter @_MTP podcast. You're watching us on Facebook, so you know where to find us, but facebook.com/missing the points. And we have a wonderful new website that Craig has put together for us, www.mtpshow.com. And as for the shirts, we all did a lot of work coming up with the name, going over the logos and everything else. But we have to think a little bit of heart.
Stretching it, Ray.
I'm trying to thank my wife for doing stuff. Quiet down over there.
A little bit of heart. Yeah. Shout out.
Little Bit of Heart, company owned by my wife that does personalized items from t-shirts and everything else. So we'll link to her Facebook page in the show notes as well. Craig, look at Craig turn right around and just show the MTP on the back. It was almost like it was on cue, but he's just getting up to close his window so you can't hear the traffic outside. That's great. Good podcast studios we got here, boys. So again, welcome into the Sunday Night Sports Wrap. We are missing the point, and we're going to take you through the next hour and 53 minutes going through the NFL, the NBA with the NBA draft coming up this week, and the Celtics rumors that have been floating around. And we'll finish off the show by touching on the Sunday night and Monday night football games, which will feature the Patriots and Ravens on Sunday night football, and then Dave's Bears against the Vikings tomorrow night on Monday night football. And I think the best part of this week, guys, I think we can all agree on it, is that Bobby is sane today because his team is on a bye, and not only are they not playing, but they can't lose. So we just want to thank the Dallas Cowboys and the NFL for scheduling their bye.
It's the best Sunday I've had all year.
So that Bobby can be sane for this show. So, guys, let's get right into it. Let's talk about the NFL. One of the first things I want to touch on, because they talked about a lot of playoff scenarios. Today on NFL Red Zone. Not a sponsor. Do I have to say that?
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
You don't, and I wish you wouldn't.
Who doesn't love Scott Hansen? No. The NFL is saying that if any games are canceled due to COVID, they're going to add another playoff spot. So we would go from 7, which they added a new playoff spot this year anyway, to 8 if any games were canceled. I'm just curious what you guys think on that topic. I think it's an interesting thing they're trying to do, and I could go both ways on it.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why they're doing it now because, the games being canceled, uncertain times and all of that. But one of the things that I like most about the NFL and the playoffs is that the best of the best teams, with some exceptions of whatever division is doing bad that year, but like it wasn't half of the league that makes the playoffs, right? It was always a select few, and you knew that you were going to get the best teams making it. My fear is now is that if you have 16 out of the 32 NFL teams, I mean, that's just going to set a precedent. And I don't want that to happen every single year. I like the fact that the NFL playoffs mean something. And, just like the NBA, you always have those bottom feeders on the 8 seed that are 10 games below 500. The NFL equivalent this year is going to be the NFC East, right? I mean, it's just you're going to have a 6-10 or a 7-9 team make it. It happens every once in a while, but I don't want it to happen all the time.
Yeah, and I just real quick to touch on that, and that's talking more about a division winner, which is we have seen it before, right? There was a year that the Cardinals made it at 7-9, and they were a very good 7-9. But Bobby, go ahead. I didn't mean to step on you.
No, you're good, man. I feel like it's too many teams. That's really what it comes down to. Is if they were to expand the playoffs to let half the league in, every week when I'm doing those power rankings, it's a struggle to rank those teams 18 through 13. You know what I mean? Like they're just half of them aren't good football teams. It's not even the fact of like, this team's better than this team. It's like, okay, both of these teams stink. Who am I going to put ahead of who? It's just once you get below, you know what I mean? Like you're talking Eagles, you're talking Lions, you're talking Falcons, Panthers, Vikings. Like none of these teams belong in the playoffs.
Oh my.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I'm just saying, like, once you get to a certain point in football, there really is a fine line between good team and bad team.
I just want to point out that you left out of that whole little rant you had the Cowboys.
Yeah, they don't belong anywhere near the playoffs.
He's trying not to think of them, Mike. I think you make a good point, Bobby, because I think as sports fans, we're so used to being burned. We're so used to being burned by the leagues that we watch. And anytime they try to add games or expand leagues or anything like that, we immediately, as very cynical sports fans, go, you're just trying to make more money. And the real problem is we're going to watch them. Every single one of us. Okay, yeah, listen, we do a sports podcast. We're the exception that proves the rule. But at the end of the day, we're going to watch them and everybody else is going to watch them. They're going to make that money. They're going to put those things on TV and people are going to watch them. What are we going to do? Protest? We love seeing these games. We even love, and this is a very Mike Marcangelo point, we even love seeing bad teams get beat up on. Is it a bad thing to have a couple bad teams be lambs to the slaughter in the playoffs in the NFL this year? It's a weird year. We have a lot of stuff going on. Send the Cowboys in there. Send the Eagles in there. Send that terrible division winner in there to have some NFC team gain some momentum by slaughtering them on national television with the final national TV game of their season being embarrassing and terrible. You know what? I don't even hate it. It's well deserved. It's well deserved. If you're going to be the worst playoff team, you should be shown to America as the worst playoff team. Yes, it's about them making money. Yes, it sucks for that team that they have to not go home to their families and instead just be embarrassed on national TV. But that's what sports is all about. You know what I mean? So
being embarrassed on national TV.
Yeah, it is because at the end of the day, I mean, we have a couple big WWE fans here in attendance, Mike and Ray. And it's all about the pageantry. It's all about the stuff that puts asses in seats, as Mike Marcangelo always says. That puts asses in seats. If you know that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to get absolutely spanked on national TV, you will tune in from minute one. So it's not bad marketing. I'm not opposed to it.
I also will say, like, NFC East aside, they're going to get some better teams in there. Like, so the NFC West, there you have some really good opportunities to get either the Seahawks, the Rams, the Cardinals could sneak in. And that could happen in the South and in the AFC. So
the Cardinals aren't a bad team, though. Don't lump those guys in, because I think they might be a little bit of a sleeper.
Who?
The Cardinals.
Oh, no. I was saying, like, we have the opportunity now with the expansion of the field to get better teams to make it that would not have in the past.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes it a good point then, Mike. Wouldn't it be? Isn't that good for the league then? When you say,
I'm literally arguing with myself. I know.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure, because I'm just like,
Ray, I think you're missing the point.
Yeah. I mean,
first one. That's number one.
I was going to say, I was about to go to Ray and say, Ray, what do you think about it? But I think something we can touch on here is the fact that we saw all of the leagues, maybe with the exception of Major League Baseball, and the MLS, which I don't know if we're counting yet, but the NBA, the NHL, and the NFL have all made adjustments to their playoff format, but the NFL is about to make the biggest adjustment to their playoff format, and I think they did that.
No, I mean, listen, I think it's great, right? Go figure. I go against everyone here, right? But no, to me, it's a great idea, man. Like, I think that, I love the 1 through 8 seed. Like, I love that in basketball. But I mean, just to keep it from a football standpoint, like, remember in 2010 when the Seattle Seahawks went 7-9, and then, they had, even though they won a division, but they had a game, I think, at Quest Field, and, Marshawn Lynch had one of the greatest runs in NFL history, where he ran over the whole damn New Orleans Saints team. So, you can get a team that's 7-9, 8-8, 9-7 that is catching fire at the end of the year, and the next thing you know, it's like, oh, now we're in the divisional round. Oh, we caught fire again in that round. Now we're in the NFC Championship game. So there's always going to be a team that catches
2007 Giants.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Them too. So for those that are listening, to the New York fans, that you got lucky. So don't leave us, please come back. But no, but yeah, so that happened. Same thing in basketball. Like in '99, the Miami Heat were a 1 seed and they lost to the 8 seed with the New York Knicks, and the Knicks made the finals as an 8 seed. So it can happen. It doesn't happen too often. But to add to what Dave said, I love to see teams get slaughtered as well. So I'm going to tune in and watch, and you should too. So once again, we're fans. So Bobby, go ahead and say what you was about to say, bro.
No, so I was just gonna say the NFC I get, because you're right. There is a good amount of teams in the NFC. Only way I would support it in the NFC is if you literally just take out the NFC East and you're like, okay, you guys battle for the rest of the playoff spots, because none of them deserve it. But anyways, with the AFC, right, you take away the teams that are battling for the playoffs right now. So it's like Bills, Dolphins, Chiefs, Raiders, Steelers, Ravens, Browns, Colts, Titans, right? That's 7 teams that are in the playoffs right there. The rest of the teams are the Texans, 2-7, Jaguars, 1-8, Bengals, 2-5, Chargers, 2-6, Jets, and Patriots. Do any of those teams deserve to be in the playoffs?
Deserve is such an expansive point, though, because it's like deserve is based on what you're giving them to achieve. Deserve is if you finish you say forget about the NFC East, but you can't. One of those teams is going to make the playoffs.
They should.
So if you win the NFC East, you by definition deserve to be in the playoffs. So if you deserve to be in the playoffs, you deserve to play a playoff team. You deserve to get beat up by a playoff team. Let's do it. Let's add all those teams in. Like, okay, great point, Bobby. Like the Patriots, I know we're going to touch on this later, and I don't want to like spoil anything, but the Patriots being in the playoffs is still fine. Yeah. Are they like a great team anymore? No. Like, do they have the personnel to bring them to the playoffs? No. But would any of us be really that opposed to the New England Patriots being in the playoffs and like making a run? They could still win a Super Bowl.
Yes.
If you get them in the dance, they could still get there. They could still win.
Anybody can, right? We've seen it
because
in the
it's
NHL.
so open. That's my point.
Which is why I don't want them in there.
Year. No, but because it's so open this year, I think that there is something to be said for letting them all shoot it out. You know what I mean? Like, because there's so like in the past, and I see you, Joe, but in the past,
you're good.
The best teams have been clear. In this year, in everything that's going on, good teams are bad teams are good. Not to spoil the state of the sizzle, but good teams are bad teams are good. Let's let them all shoot it out. You know what I mean? Like, who cares? It's more football.
And to go along with Dave's point there, and I'm going to totally agree with him, because the only way you get away from what you're talking about, Bobby, is to go to a standings table over divisional rounds or divisions like they have in the NFL now, right? So you split the conferences into just 2 conference tables and pick the top 6 or 7 teams from those, and you get rid of north, south, east, and west, right? So if and I'm gonna throw a crazy prediction out here, but the New York Giants are going to win the NFC East because that team is actually looking much better than they did.
You're basing that off today, though, right? You're basing. I'm basing this off the
last 3 weeks. I think,
but you got pushed over the edge by that win today, and a win against the Philadelphia Eagles it shouldn't convince you of anything.
No, but I'm going to go back to one other thing to rebut Dave is that I'm going to go back to my point that I always go to, is that they are still an NFL team, the Philadelphia Eagles. They do still have Carson Wentz, who is a lower tier quarterback, but that Eagles team was a Super Bowl team just a couple years ago, and not
because of him though.
I'm not saying because of him, but what I'm saying is that your point is that if you win the NFC East, you deserve to be in the playoffs. So if the Giants beat an NFC East team in the Philadelphia Eagles, they now have a divisional game, which means they should even more be propelled towards the playoffs. So does that prove your point, right? Absolutely. Yes. I believe that their win today convinces me more, but over the last 3 weeks, that Giants team has played relatively, it's because it's all relative, out of their mind.
Yeah, Joe. So I would never normally back up the Giants ever in the history of my life, but I have to say I completely agree with you that they are
a true Patriots fan.
They are the favorites to win that division because of the fact that they just have the most upside out of anyone out of those teams right now. You look at who they have and how they can play when they play their best. They have the most upside out of everyone in the NFC East.
Bobby, let me ask you something seriously, though, because you often talk about things like championship DNA, franchise DNA. When we I know, but seriously, I know that these guys give you shit for it, but I agree with you a lot of the time. You can give it the old eye test sometimes, and you can see things that maybe don't show up on paper. The thing about franchise DNA, we often touch on this theme, right? The Cowboys are, and this isn't a poke at you, I promise, but the Cowboys are perennial underachievers, right? Based on what they have on paper. The Patriots are never to be counted out. Like these franchise DNA things. Are the New York Giants, to Joe's point, to expand on it a little bit, just thinking about it, are the New York Giants always they shouldn't be good, but they're good team? You know, like the 2 years that they won those Super Bowls, and I know you guys have some bias here when it comes to the New England Patriots losing to them in Super Bowls. Both times, the second time less so, but both times they didn't even really deserve to be there. They weren't even really on paper the team that should have been in the Super Bowl beating the Patriots, and they certainly shouldn't have been beating the Patriots on paper in either of those games individually. Are the New York Giants the team that can somehow weirdly pull things out? And in a year where it's anyone's chance, are the New York Giants the exact kind of franchise with franchise DNA to go and do something like this?
I think while you still had Eli and Tom Coughlin there, they were a team, and I can say this as a Patriot fan, they were a team that you never wanted to see in the playoffs because you knew that when they got hot, they would always get hot in December and January, and they would just do one thing better than you did. Now, I don't know as it's currently constituted. Joe Judge is pretty unproven. I think Daniel Jones is unproven. I think if that team still had Barkley and he was healthy, that would be a team that would.
What's their D line? Just out of curiosity, does anyone know?
No.
Their defense has been okay.
It's been all right.
Because
it's been good enough.
The Giants won those 2 Super Bowls based on their defensive line, right?
Mm-hmm.
They did it based on like quarterback pressure.
Well, that second one was that Mario Manningham catch on the sideline because Julian Edelman was covering him.
It was still that defense, though. That defense was
sure. But what got him to the show was the fact that they could rush the quarterback, and then when they were able to put Tom Brady under pressure, which as it turns out is the only thing you can really do to an elite quarterback to make him not beat you in a game. And it worked out. It was a perfect storm. I wonder you guys often talk about the Bears, like the Bears have never had a good quarterback, but the Bears have always had a good defense. I wonder if they're starting to develop a franchise identity that's this, it's like you're a Giants lineman. A Giants lineman has won the Giants a Super Bowl. Like this kind of championship DNA topic is a real thing. I'm not saying the New York Giants are going to go on to win the Super Bowl, but you can get buy-in from a team based on, they don't have Eli Manning and Tom Coughlin anymore, Mike, but shit, man. I mean, it wasn't that long ago.
Let's just get there.
You say, let's just get there. Let's just get there. You're a New York Giants lineman, and you play in the city of New York, and it matters that you are part of this identity. Can you pull more out of your athletes if you're in a franchise like that? I guess is my question.
So to go to that point where Bobby just said, just get there, Bobby, I don't think that that's your mentality, but we'll get there. And also, who would have known that Joe Judge was the best head coach in the Bill Belichick coaching tree? But Rayshawn, you kind of got a little fired up there on a couple of those points. And I know I'm passing over you, Bobby. It's on purpose. I want to go over to Rayshawn because Ray, you got a little fired up there, especially on my point talking about the Giants over the Eagles today and all that. So I kind of want to get your thoughts on all this.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles are 3-5-1 now.
Yeah, they have
some
3.5
record that they
have. So I mean, I think that if they still show up to play, then they're still going to be the best team in that division. I mean, I guess it's cute that the Giants have been better the last few weeks. Great, bravo, awesome. Round of applause, Joe Judge. Funny how a guy named Joe is repping for another guy named Joe, right? Let you be the judge of that. So I see what I did there. But
Ray, they were 0-6 4 weeks ago, is what I'm saying.
No, that's what I'm saying. Awesome. That's great. That is beautiful. I'm glad to see how he has got them to be the 3-7. They are on the way. Daniel Jones didn't trip as he ran into the end zone. Awesome. That is phenomenal. But I do think that, I mean, he's okay. Like he's all right. But like Mike said, you lost Saquon Barkley. Like, to me, that's the guy that makes that team go. Because, Danny Dimes, as they've coined that nickname for him down there, like he's not dropping dimes. He's not going to drop dimes. He's doing, if anything, he looks like Danny NASCAR because he wants to run every damn where. So, that's what he's doing. So listen.
Your point is, I think that he's not about to revolutionize the quarterback position because he scrambled a couple times, right?
Correct. And we're gonna come to you next, man. But it's just like I think that Philly should still win, and matter of fact, no, Philly will win that division, and I'm pretty sure that the Giants will win more than 1 or 2 games.
The NFC East, we're spending more time on them than they have wins, first of all, and also, The Giants are 3-1 since Saquon went down. All right. So I do think that this is a great coaching job for Judge. I just think that it really doesn't matter who comes out of that division because it's going to be the first division in the history of the NFL where the division winner is legitimately upset that they won the division because they're going to go from a top 10 pick to a 28th.
I don't know. I really don't know if I agree with that, Bobby, because I was, the championship ReWrap, link to it in the show notes. As I like to call it, the championship ReWrap starring everybody but Dave. I was listening to it. And
you're coming.
And you guys made a great point is that Bill Belichick, I mean, I know this becomes the Bill Belichick show sometimes, but the guy's a great coach and it's important to talk about. He used to be able to, I forget who said it, but he used to be able to fire up his team by saying, you're not the expected winner. You're not the favorite. So here comes post Lawyer Malloy. You're the new guys. Get everybody in, get everybody bought in. Who's going to be the winner? Who's going to prove the media wrong? Who's going to prove these people wrong? That's the case in the NFC East right now. It doesn't matter what your record is. You can be a playoff contender. You just have to get to the dance, man. You just have to get to the show.
I've really never heard you be so much of a hype man, and I'm so jacked up right now. And I'll go back to you, but you're absolutely right, because kind of going arguing with Mike's point and going with your point, as one of you is on the left of me and one of you is on the right on the camera. It's like the Brady Bunch. But to go along with your point, Dave, it's great, because when Mike said it at first, I was like, yeah, that would kind of suck. But then I'm thinking back to what Rayshawn said about the Seahawks against the Saints, and you think back to those 2007 Giants, and if we think of it from a sports point of view, like, wasn't 2007 almost like a perfect season for the NFL in a lot of ways? You have a perfect team going into the Super Bowl. I know, Craig. This is what happens when I see you. You have a perfect team going into the Super Bowl, and you have an 8-8 Giants team in the Super Bowl, and then you get kind of the king of the NFL knocked off, and the Giants, who are one of the storied franchises in the NFL, 9-7, not 8-8. Sorry, 9-7. Thank you, Bobby, for correcting me on my NFC East trivia.
Got you.
From 14 years ago.
The people have to know we know what we're talking about.
Yeah. No, you're right. No, you're right. And I
especially when it comes to my shitty NFC East.
For those of you watching and listening, this is why we have 6 of us, to keep everybody accountable. It's not because we don't know what we're talking about. It's just to keep us all accountable. But Dave, it's so much hype, because you're right. Like, when you get that bad team, and then on wild card weekend, you get a 7-9 team beating up on a 13-3 number 3 seed. Like, that's kind of fun. That's so
100%. Because you know what it is in all sports, not just the NFL. The NFL is really good at it. They have a WWE streak in them as far as this, but the key word is narrative. Narrative is something that people buy into. People write down to somebody on a team. If you're on the D line, if you're the defensive line coach in the New York Giants, or you're the quarterback coach on the Philadelphia Eagles, you can go, here's the narrative. Here's what they're telling you doesn't work, but you're still a playoff team. Your only job is to have a better record than the other 3 teams in your little tiny division. That's your only job. If you achieve that, then you have a chance to do it all. When the Pittsburgh Steelers, who, by the way, I hope we move on to them a little bit later, I'm hype on right now. I know I live in a Pittsburgh Steelers household, and those who are friends of the show know that, but I'm hype on the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. When the Pittsburgh Steelers went and won that first Super Bowl in our era, they were a wild card team. And their big thing when they went into that year 11-5 was their narrative. Everything that they were told was, yeah, you guys are a great franchise and all, but like, you're not it. You're not the team. You can tell whoever wins the NFC East that they still have a shot. You did what you need to do. You did your job. Does anyone remember that phrase? You can pull that and put it on any other team and say, you can do it. You got yourself to the dance. You can make the play.
Whether that's the 6-9-1 Eagles or the 6-9-1 Eagles or the 7-9 Giants.
I'm not putting any of my hard-earned money on an NFC East team winning the Super Bowl, but it's fun to say out loud on this show.
I mean, I feel like I've had some time to think about it, right? And because it's our first show, I'm asking for a take mulligan. I want my initial take to be not counted, because now that I've had time to think about it,
I talked you out of it. Is that what you're saying? I talked you out of it.
You were great, because when you really think about it, right, you see the Giants play the Bucks. Do you think the Bucks ever want to play the Giants in the playoffs? Because I don't think that they do. And I think that
Tom Brady's their
quarterback. Yeah. Tom Brady's their quarterback, and that's in his head.
So I think that
franchise DNA matters.
I think allowing more teams in will lead to a better viewing experience. There will be some bad teams that get in, but I think all in all, it is better. So I was wrong already. 30 minutes in, I was wrong.
It's a new podcast, new Mike.
That's right. This isn't the first time you've been wrong.
Mike Marcangelo.
You've been wrong about the Lions so far, too. Now, to Mike's point, before we switch gears here, is that some leagues have that figured out, right? Like the NHL has that figured out. We saw the LA Kings win a Stanley Cup as the 8th seed in the West. That's fun. That stuff is fun to watch. If the NFL can replicate that and the NFL cannot dilute their rosters and their product, it's going to be awesome to see a 7 seed in the East a 7 seed in the AFC go on to win a Super Bowl.
I also think that that's the most comparable sport that you just mentioned there. I think that in the NHL, right, it just takes a goalie to get hot. That's literally
2011.
That's literally it, and everything else will fall into place. In the NFL, it takes a defense, a defensive line, or a quarterback just to say, you know what, this is on me, and they can lead their teams to the Super Bowl. So, yeah, you know what, I'm all for it. I guess every team should be in the playoffs.
We're coming back to this one with the Patriots, right?
Yeah, well, we're gonna get to a couple of questions that were posed to us. So we're gonna touch on some of the games going on here in Week 10. We know we've kind of jumped off and done some other things here, releasing the ReWrap for the 2003 New England Patriots, which you can find wherever you listen to podcasts right now. Just search "Missing the Point." You can find that, hosted by Bob Kelly. He does a great job with those. We really enjoyed talking about the 2003 New England Patriots, which I think, talking about it, we all agree was one of the best Patriots teams in their run of Super Bowls at 14-2. Sorry,
I'd love to jump in there, Joe, just as a listener, because again, the only one of our really close knit group here that didn't make the ReWrap cut. No, I'm just kidding. Not a Patriots fan, didn't make it. Bobby apparently was a Patriots fan for like 8 minutes, so he gets to host the Patriots fan podcast, but.
Until they won 3 Super Bowls in a row. Then I was like, I don't like this whole Super Bowl.
They never won 3 in a row.
Just as a small plug, just as a small plug for the ReWrap, I did listen to it, obviously, because I'm on this show. And if you ever want to learn about like the 8th safety on the New England Patriots in 2003, you need to listen to this podcast, because this is a group of guys that remembers the roster of the New England Patriots, and we'll talk about like the blood type of a guy you've never heard of.
Ollie Banzakane, O negative.
Yeah, I mean, they really know their stuff. If you really want to learn about the New England Patriots in 2003, and Ray kept pointing on this in the ReWrap, if you're 25 or below and you've only kind of heard stories about the 2003 New England Patriots, and you want to kind of know why your team is legit, why your franchise is the best franchise of the last 20 years, I highly recommend the Championship ReWrap, because they really go into detail. And one of my favorite points, and I'll save it after this. Bill Belichick wasn't Bill Belichick before 2003, right. And we learned that in that podcast. And they make a great point about that. They really talk about it. I learned so much in retrospect listening to this. And if anybody is curious about the history of the NFL, if you're curious about the history of the franchise, I highly recommend it. I know I'm biased, but I really do believe in this podcast. So go listen.
Can I pose a huge question here? Has Dave ever been this much of a hype man for any of it? Like, Dave's in a great mood today.
It's the name change. It's the name change.
Yeah, that's it. That's what we'll go with.
New pod, new us.
So now that we've talked about the NFC East for 35 minutes, let's move to the NFC South and talk about our old friend Tom Brady up here in New England, and talk about the Tampa Bay Bucks, who were absolutely railroaded last week by New Orleans. Ray and I kind of talked about this a little bit, and Ray, this was so much. It was all right. So I have to preface this, because I think I said about a half a dozen times, once to Craig's face in person today, F Tom Brady. And I said it like that, EFF, not the whole word. F Tom Brady. And it's not because
he plays like poop sometimes, Joe.
He does play like poop sometimes. Partly it was because of fantasy football implications, where he ran the ball in for a touchdown on the 1 yard line, and Rojo was in the backfield, Ronald Jones. And he could have just handed off to him and got me points. But no big deal. Good. Thank goodness for that 98-yard touchdown run, the longest in Tampa Bay Buccaneers history. And the second longest in Tom Brady's career, only behind the 99-yard touchdown pass to Julian Edelman.
What's Walker?
They're the same guy. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, absolutely true.
We're not going to get into that, but yeah.
They are the same guy.
Have you ever seen them both in the same room? Don't answer that. So the Tampa Bay. So, but I don't mean that as a Patriots fan. I've always appreciated what Tom Brady did as a quarterback, as a person here in New England for this franchise, from an entertainment standpoint, bringing 6 Super Bowls to New England. But right now, this guy is playing out of his mind. And I'm going to throw this out there, because this might be my hot take of the day, because I've been hot on Josh McDaniels being a lot of the issues with the Patriots offense lately. And we're going to get into this later, but this is going back to the Tampa game today. regardless of how Tom Brady has played this season, it was a lot of fun being a Patriots fan, watching him get absolutely railroaded by the New Orleans Saints last week. I loved every second of it. And they were 0-1 with Antonio Brown back on the roster. So hey, hang on.
This is bad, dude. Like you don't act like you don't want to be this type of Patriots fan.
No. But I'm not this type of Patriots fan. I'm an NFL fan. But hang on. I just said I love Tom Brady. Thank you for bringing me 6 Super Bowls. He's not here anymore. But let me finish my. Hang on. What you're saying. Let me finish my thought by saying Tom Brady was a lot of the glue that was holding this organization and this franchise together in New England. And now that he's gone, look what's going on. Well, we're not even talking to about the Patriots yet. So now we're going to.
Let's drag all our dirty laundry out in front of all of our listening fan base. Then, so as you as loyal listeners know, we have a little bit of a group chat. We're all very good friends. We all really love and care about each other. Don't worry. But one of the biggest points of contention is that Rayshawn and Joe are diehard Patriots fans, much like Mike and Craig. But on this point, they're diehard Patriots fans to the point where they are, sorry, boys.
That's not true.
Getting their fucking feelings hurt by sorry for swearing on the live show, but getting their feelings hurt by this Patriots season to the point where I'm hearing stuff like this. It's great to see Tom Brady railroaded. He's your guy.
He's not here anymore.
No, Joe kills him. I'm the one that's been on there saying, remember, actually, Bedford, you could listen to one of the sound bites that Craig put together, the best producer in the game. When I said 20 touchdowns.
He's on Twitter. He's not listening to you.
That's fine. He can retweet this when it comes out. But when I said 20 touchdowns to 4
I do my job. You guys do yours.
Exactly. Well, I'm doing mine right now by giving you credit. But 20 when I said 20 touchdowns to 4 picks and I said ball game and I said he's tearing their ass up, like guess what? Now that's over 2,700 yards.
Fair.
23 touchdowns, 7 picks.
Fair to not lump you in. Joe Malkin has been waiting to hate Tom Brady since
No. Hang on. That's not true.
The Peyton Manning fan in the Patriots fan base.
But that's not true because I have always said, and Craig can back me up on this because as we've mentioned before the show and during the show, I am friends with Craig outside of the show, outside of work. I have always.
Do you guys know they were friends?
Always been, Bobby, you're just jealous. You're just jealous that you're not as good of friends with Craig as I am.
That's true.
I have always been the one that
go around, boys.
Oh my God.
Get your mic out of there. I have always been the one to say that Tom Brady did great things here. I loved what he did here. I'm so happy he was here and did what he did. But I was always the one that said I wasn't a big fan of him. I've never been the biggest fan of Tom Brady.
Let's go down to that, right? Because we all understand this point. When you're a sports fan, if we're going to go meta here, you're often a fan of a franchise, which is kind of ludicrous in and of itself, right? It's based on your geographic location, like what they've done, whatever. Okay, like not to bring down the whole house of cards, but what makes you love a franchise often? The players that reflect what you love about the game in the team. So if Tom wasn't that for you, Joe, like that's okay. Because Tom was never the kind of quarterback that displayed a love of the game type of thing. It was all about system. It was all about
business. It was
business. It was all about, and honestly, Belichick, the receivers need to hit their spot when they're told to, right? Like get where you need to be. Right. So we're in the off season. We're all talking there. It's on record. You know, we do a podcast. There's audio of this. Who's going to be the winner of this? Tom Brady or Bill Belichick? Let's not overreact to Tom Brady doing okay when Bill Belichick is having a little bit of a tough time. At the end of the day, Tom Brady's a good to great quarterback when he's throwing the ball on the field. Okay. The reason why he's going to get GOAT status, this is unarguable. The reason why he's going to get GOAT status, the reason why he's where he is because he participated in a franchise that had genius behind it with Bill Belichick, right? And I've always been married to that point. Tom Brady doing well with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is no surprise. He has a ton of weapons over there. He has a ton of weapons over there. Don't take pleasure in them losing a game because there is a good chance that he goes on to win a 7th Super Bowl. There was a good chance of that. Okay.
Just to follow up on that, I said before the season started that I didn't think they were going to win a Super Bowl, and that wasn't vindictive. But
you've changed your mind though a little bit, right?
A little bit, absolutely a little bit. But yes, we can say that I'm the second mind you have changed tonight. So you only have Craig, Bobby, and Rayshawn left.
You're in good company,
and maybe
dude.
yourself.
I'm not even going to try with Rayshawn.
Yeah, he's the most stubborn of all of us.
I'm not that.
Let's bring up the Celtics and see how much I can change his mind.
We're gonna get there. Give it another 18 minutes or so. But Dave, I couldn't agree with you more. I think what I'm trying to say is there were times, and we've seen it already in 2 rewraps, right, where the Patriots have had bad losses with Tom Brady as quarterback, and in the hangover, we saw that Tom Brady had bad losses. I think, to me, and put me on the couch here and ask me about my feelings. I think what it is here is that he lost to a New Orleans team that he probably shouldn't have lost to by a large margin. And that was the entire Tampa Bay's.
I hate to keep interrupting, and I'm sorry for this, but I did say in our preview show that is still always going to be the New Orleans division, and that divisional games are important to point out. Divisional games. Tom Brady came into that franchise battle being experienced, beating up the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Jets. Yeah. Going into a Drew Brees franchise was. A Drew Brees division was always going to be difficult to him. And it was inevitable for him to lose to the Saints twice. Was it embarrassing for him to get beat up that way? Yes. Was it, and correct me if I'm wrong, boys, but was that the worst loss Tom Brady's ever taken?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was.
But it doesn't make it a little bit better that Drew Brees handed him that loss. It totally does.
Yeah, Drew Brees instead of
instead of Eli Manning, for God's sake.
Eli
you know
Manning.
What I mean? Like,
Sure.
He's taken more embarrassing losses in his career already.
Nick Foles.
I want to ask a question because I feel like, we're beating around the bush, right? So yes, great. They beat him twice. And, we were a lot, not just Joe. There's a lot of people, either you're listening to this, you
don't lump me in with pink hats.
And
don't
no,
do it.
not the pink hats. Why going there, sir? Let me, class is still in session. I got you. So no, this is what I mean. A lot of people was hyped off a week 9 win. And once again, the New Orleans Saints won a Super Bowl in 2009, right? Everyone, you can fact check that. They beat them. The memorable play is Tracy Porter running down the sideline after picking off number 18. It was a beautiful moment. I'll never forget it. They have not done much in 10 years. They haven't done much. So excuse me if I'm not getting hype off a week 9 win. Was it pure domination? Absolutely. Talk to me in January when they may be the only ones chilling in the Superdome, and Tom Brady's in Tampa saying, "Hey, I have a chance to get number 7," and they're on the couch watching it just like the 6 of us. So just chill, sit back. They're now 7-3. There's nobody in the NFC that wants to face him come playoff time. I'm telling you that right now. So I could care less about a week 9 win. I don't care what happens in week 12. And matter of fact, Craig told us earlier in the show during in the Zoom chat, Breeze just went out with an injury.
Yeah, he just went out with a rib injury.
So guess what? All them Saints fans that was talking crazy that y'all watching this right now, once again, it sucks that he went down with an injury, but things can change very quickly. And I promise you, number 12 is not someone you want to see come playoff time because he's going to beat y'all ass. He's going to beat somebody else that.
But same point we were making earlier, Ray. Same point we were making earlier. Just got to get to the playoffs.
Right,
and everything's wide open right now. Everything's wide open right now.
Say that right now. You don't want to see that problem.
I gotta pull a mic here and slow down. Okay. Ray, what you're saying almost it validates my feelings towards Tom Brady a little bit more, in that all it is the fact that he did so much here, and I'm not upset that he left. Everyone knew he was gone. I told everyone.
Yes, you are. You just haven't unpacked it yet with your therapist.
Yeah,
you're like the most upset that he left.
Yeah, no. But I knew it was coming. I called it. I said it. So maybe you're right. Maybe the
doesn't make it hurt any less, buddy.
But maybe
we're here for you.
Maybe I was more of a fan of him than I ever thought I was. But hang on, I want to go to Bobby because Bobby's been trying to jump in here. Now that Rayshawn has taught us something, Bobby, hop in.
Yeah, so not to follow Mr. B's lesson over here, okay? But so the thing I want to point out about that game last week is I don't think that was an image of who the Buccaneers are. They didn't show up from that game to start with. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't have a game plan. They were 3rd and 9, 3rd and 11 for their first 4 possessions. By the time they even realized they were playing football, it was already 21-0. So that game is they're done. You know what I mean? Especially against the way the New Orleans team was playing last week. That game was over so fast. Ray, I know you asked me, is this game over? You asked me that. You asked us all that right in the second quarter. I said no. I was definitely wrong. That game was
I
early,
was
man.
too. It got early pretty quickly. So shout out to Yogi Berra. But it's just like, man, but it was, but then he comes back today, since we're going to talk about week 10 stuff too. He comes back today and they drop 46 on a team that scored 31 on Kansas City last week. So it's not like, it was just the Carolina Panthers.
Don't do NFL math this week because
did they not score 31 against them?
But no, but don't do NFL math this season because the Bears have beaten teams. The Bears beat the Bucks. You know what I mean? Like there's teams that have beaten other teams that shouldn't have. It's a weird season.
The NFL is getting their parity.
One last point. Can we just point out how fast Joe went vindictive against Tom Brady just because he left and he sees them being successful and how much shit I get for being vindictive against the Patriots when you just did the same exact
I'll tell you something right now, Bobby. I wouldn't want to be one of Joe Malkin's ex-girlfriends because he really comes after you.
Bro.
Fact. Listen. If you leave him, hey, I've been married for 4 years.
You mean to tell me
I've been married? You're telling me
Joe literally just said he got pleasure. He got pleasure out of seeing Tom Brady get railroaded, right? But I'm a troll. I'm a troll because I get pleasure out of the Patriots.
Wait a minute.
Getting
That's not a troll. That's not a troll. The guy was here for 20 years, and I'm a Patriots fan. I always have been since day one.
I've been here for 32 years.
Whether he's here or not.
No, you know what it is too. Cause it's just like how Joe felt about Tom Brady is how Mike feels about Doc Rivers, right? Doc Rivers leaves. He probably didn't like how Doc left Boston. Doc goes to the Clippers. It's Lob City. Blake Griffin's doing.
By the way, Doc did not leave Boston.
We wanted him out.
He did not leave Boston. He was traded from Boston
because
but Dave, to fit Mike's narrative, he left because he didn't want to leave. So to fit Mike's narrative, he walked away.
Or just the facts. Like if you want to yell
the narrative
over each other, that's
hang on. Let me do me a favor. Do me a favor. Let me ask you guys a question. The Patriots fans in the room. Let me ask you guys a question. When you look at a Tom Brady, let me pose you a hypothetical.
There is no other player like him, so we have to look at Tom Brady.
Sure. So he goes and wins a 7th Super Bowl.
Okay.
What are you gonna say about Tom Brady not as an NFL fan? Because as an NFL fan, I already think he's the GOAT. As an NFL fan, as somebody who loves greatness, I already think he's the GOAT. If he wins 7, I not only do I think he's the GOAT, I think that he's never going to be Tom.
Across all
sports. No question. It's
possibly worldwide.
Yeah, 100% worldwide.
Because obviously, listen, we're all of us that are Patriots fans on here, and then those that are listening, we're taught to be fans of the team, not the player, right? But obviously, you just can't help but put the two together when it came to Tom. And some people have gone and ran down to Tampa Bay on I-95 with him. I get that. That's fine. That's to each his own.
Those aren't real fans, though. By the way, they're not.
But if he wins number 7, whether it be this year or next year, he's undoubtedly the best to ever do it. To me, he already is. It just further cements his legacy. And to me, like I said, it continues to speak of his greatness. Like, I was always, to me, like a 60-40 Brady Bill. And like I said, this will just cement that. So I'm not gonna. What I am gonna say is, I've called out Robert Kraft in our group chat. We know, but for different reasons. But I would definitely call him up because listen, you're the owner. So Bill's not the owner, you are. So if you still believe that if Tommy still has something left in the tank, then you make sure that Tommy has what he has in order for you to get number 7, for you to still be the best franchise of all time, and for you to continue dominance. We are the San Antonio Spurs.
I take that's something we've talked about before. And Ray, usually you and I are on the same, at least close to the same side on these things. But on that one right there, they won a Super Bowl after the relationship between Bill Belichick and Tom Brady soured. He was gone after 2019, regardless.
Kraft being right that one time doesn't mean that Bill Belichick didn't make all the calls that he made.
I'll give you some insight about the. I know because I actually spoke to a
close personal friend of Robert Kraft, Rayshawn.
Not Robert Kraft. So I won't say the person's name because the person, even though they're not listening, but there was a guy that was on the team when they lost to Philadelphia in the Super Bowl, and I was working down in Miami, and so I was like, yo, I said, you worked on the Patriots, and I said, how was it during this year? Like, what I said, what happened? I said, if you could speak into particulars. He said Brady walked into the office, went up to Kraft and said, it's either him or me. And I said, what? He was like, yeah. He said, it's either me or him. So, in 2017, okay, you chose Brady then. You can continue to choose a player because that guy has proven it time and time again. Yes, coaches coach, but players play. And everybody was coming here because they want to play with 12. It wasn't because they want to play for Bill. They wanted to come play with Tom Brady because they knew he was going to get the ball.
Not the case. Untrue.
No. Absolutely.
That's absolutely the case. And this every day. Now we're not talking 2003, but Ronnie Harrison was a Bill guy and a Sergeant. I'm talking about right now in the last 5 or 6 years, players were coming here. Whether it's Darrell Revis, whether it was
Reggie Wayne was one of the best receivers in the NFL and retired.
Let me ask you a very simple question. Then let me ask you a very simple question. If that's true, where was his receiving core in the last year that he played in New England?
But that's on Belichick the GM, and that's on
no, it's on Belichick when it's convenient, Ray. Because if they were coming here to play with Tom Brady,
who's drafting them? Tim or Tom?
It doesn't matter. No, that's the point.
That's just saying. You're making the same point.
The point is, if they're coming here to play with Tom, they should be coming to catch passes from Tom Brady. Where's the receiving core? Where are they? They should be catching passes for Cam Newton right now because they all should have shown up for Tom Brady.
To that point, why do you think he ended up going to Tampa Bay that has Mike Evans, Scotty Miller, who's up and coming? They have
that's Julie Edelman.
Who's the other receiver?
Chris Godwin. OJ Howard.
They traded. Didn't they trade OJ?
No. He's still there.
Cameron Brate.
Yeah.
Why do you think Rob Gronkowski came out of retirement and got the Patriots to trade him, and then Tom Brady talked Tampa Bay and Bruce Arians into signing Antonio Brown?
What exactly are you saying? That was a Rob Gronkowski mastermind? He was cut by Bill Belichick.
No, he retired. No, he retired.
But Bill Belichick had the choice to have him on the team. He said, "I'll catch passes for Tom Brady or no one."
No.
He said, "I'll catch passes for Tom Brady or no one."
You're right. Hang on, Bobby. You're absolutely right. He said, "I'll catch passes from Tom Brady or no one."
Bill had the choice to have Gronk and Bill, and Gronk and Tom still in New England, and he chose not to have that combination.
No, he didn't. Rob Gronkowski didn't want to play for Bill Belichick anymore because the medical staff, staff and the organization screwed Rob Gronkowski because on multiple occasions with his injuries, he went to second and third opinions from doctors outside of the New England Patriots because he felt as though it was convenient for Bill Belichick. Your point.
I'm sorry. What's your theory here that Bill Belichick is fabricating medical claims against Rob Gronkowski because he doesn't want him on the team?
Nope. That he wanted Rob Gronkowski to come back and play injured. That he wanted Rob Gronkowski to come back and play before he was ready to play.
If there's just a chance that we can just kind of get this thing back on the rails here, I want to answer a couple of the things that you just laid out.
Thank God Mike just came in. Go ahead.
Okay, so Gronk was almost going to be traded to the Lions in 2018. You are correct, Dave. He said, if you trade me, I'll retire. So he stayed, okay? But then he retired the next year and said he's only going to come back to play with Tom. But that aside, I think now, if to your original question 4.5 minutes ago, if Brady wins the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay, obviously he's the greatest of all time, and I don't think there's anything else that he can do that will raise that, and there's certainly nothing that he can do that will restrict that in my mind. What it will do is it will damn the Patriots though, because you had the guy and you let him go. And it was not. I don't think it was overly malicious. I think Bill, as the GM, has always had this theory that the only time that they've ever won Super Bowls was when they had a really good defensive squad. Because when they sold out for offense in 2007, They didn't do anything. 2011, they got there. They didn't do anything. So it's more damning. I just think it's more damning to Bill and Robert Kraft for letting him go than it is good that Tom Brady does it.
Okay, but we're not, because Tom Brady's won a few games and the Patriots have lost a few games, does not. Don't. No. And by the way,
I think you're focusing on that because of how I presented this topic.
But this season doesn't change.
I want to respond to Mike's point.
Regardless of how the Patriots finish this year, it doesn't change that narrative.
No, I know, but let me get to the end because again, you guys have put me in a position to defend the New England Patriots, which is like not where I want to be.
It's on purpose.
Think about this. We're only at where we're at. Okay, when Tom Brady inevitably, like we're talking like a 5% chance of Tom Brady winning a Super Bowl this year. Yes, it's wide open. Yes, all the things we've said is true, but okay, maybe a little higher because he's Tom Brady, like on paper, sure. But if he doesn't, and Bill Belichick decides to draft a defensive player in a very defensive upcoming draft and build a new defense and long term win a championship with the defense wins championships mentality with a quarterback like Cam Newton or something along those lines. Bill Belichick's playing the long game, guys. You can't decide who wins this based on the first 9 or 10 games of the first season after they've split up.
Like Bill's running out of time, right? He has to draft the defense and have a reasonable.
What do you mean? He's gonna live forever. What's the?
Well,
but he doesn't want to be Marv Levy, and he's
those hoodies are only getting bigger, guys. He's gonna be there for the next 10 years. Don't worry.
I think if Bill wins without Tom, it means more for Bill than it means for Tom because of where he went. Because he went to such a good situation on offense. Now he can't control the defense, but like if he goes there and wins and with all those weapons, and
I would agree with you. I would agree with you to the point where it just a little bit the opposite, where it means more to Bill's point if you can't win with offensive weapons. Do you know what I mean? Like if Tom Brady goes in and he can't win with all the weapons that he was asking Bill to supply him, then Bill's correct. And that's the exact kind of thing that Bill Belichick loves to be right about. So I would not bet against him. Go ahead, Bobby.
I feel like what it comes down to, though, is the Patriots knew coming into this year, even before last year, and Bill already said it this season, that they were going to be in salary cap hell for the next few years because they sold out for those Super Bowls. Brady almost left after that Eagles Super Bowl because he already knew this. So I don't think it's something where he left the team because of this, because of that. It was a thing where he knew there was no chance. If he stayed in New England, they were going to be able to put the kind of team around him to win him another Super Bowl.
Going to be able to,
yes. And
choosing not
to. Because the only way I see it right now for the Patriots to actually get back to a point where they were is to build that through the draft. And Brady's not going to sit around and watch a team build something through the draft. That's just not who he is at this point. If he was 32, maybe. But he's not. He's 43. The Patriots need a few draft classes to come in here because free agents aren't going to do it because they just don't have the money.
So let me pose a question here to Bobby's point, and this goes for everybody because now we've gotten on the Patriots train, and like Mike said, we've gone way off. But before I do that, we're entering into the second hour of the Sunday Night Sports Wrap, so I do want to reset. Let's all take a deep breath, take a sip of your drink, and let's get back to it. We've now fired up Rayshawn. We've fired up Dave. Dave was our hype man. I don't know.
That was great.
Did Dave leave or is he still here? Because I can't see him.
He's here in spirit.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we've fired up Rayshawn, which I did. I fired up Dave. Bobby has actually been the most level-headed in this conversation, which
Crazy.
Is amazing. It's because the Cowboys aren't playing this week, Bobby. And we've done it. This has been a great first hour. We do have a couple of questions to pose here as we enter the second hour. We do want to welcome you in if you're just listening to us now. Jesus, well, I feel like doing for the Sunday. Hang on. So. The Sunday Night Sports Wrap. I'm Joe Malkin, Rayshawn Buchanan, Mike Marcangelo, Craig D'Alessandro, our EP, Bob Kelly, and Dave Clarke from the left coast. We are under our new name as Missing the Point, hosting the Sunday Night Sports Wrap as we do once a month, usually on the second Sunday of the month for 2 hours to go back to our roots of our college days where we were on WGAO 88.3, not a sponsor. And I just want to let you guys know that if you don't follow us yet on Instagram, it's @_missing_the_point. On Twitter, @_MTP podcast. And if you're watching us on Facebook, you already know this, but if you're listening to this after the fact, facebook.com/missingthepoints. Our website, www.mtpshow.com. And we all are wearing our t-shirts today. Missing the point. Big Craig turnaround for the folks at home. Big MTP on the back. And I want to say thank you to Little Bit of Heart, my wife's company, for providing these shirts for us. And guys, it's been a great first hour once again, to say it for the third time here. And we've turned Dave from our hype man into the protagonist of the.
Well, no, Dave's just a better heel. I mean, he's just a better heel. He's not a good baby face, and I love you, but you just aren't. You are a better heel.
He's a great villain.
That's the best way I've ever been called an asshole in my whole life, Mike. Thank you so much.
Mike has always been great at that. So let's
Mike's a natural heel too. So
yeah, that's true. Let's pose a couple questions here. Now that we've talked about this whole conversation of Tom Brady with the Patriots and now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and that entire situation, and I think we could really go in and dissect that entire the psychology behind all of it, because Dave, I agree with you 100%, and I'm going to kind of cut this here, but I agree with you 100% that Bill Belichick does things when it's convenient for him, but I think that goes into the decisions behind Tom Brady. We all know he never wanted to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, and that's a whole nother conversation for the last half hour that we're going to get into when we go into the Sunday night and Monday night football games. But two questions I really want to pose to you guys here, just from a question that Bobby threw up on our Instagram and our Twitter this week, of asking people, this is great, right? Now you're a fan of the NFL or you're a fan of the Patriots and your team isn't doing well. So how's that going for you? So one of the things was, one of the narratives is, we've won 6 rings, it'll be okay. And we've talked about this before, because this was something that Bobby and Dave brought up at the beginning of the year of, wow, you guys are fine. And now I'm kind of understanding, Dave, based on that conversation there, is what you're saying is that the Patriots themselves are in kind of a bridge or a rebuild, not necessarily that it's over, but that, hey, you've won 6 championships, you're just in a transition. But let's ask this question. Yankees, the New York Yankees have won 27 championships in their history, right? And especially as Red Sox fans, I believe every single one of us is a Red Sox fan, all 6 of us. If you ever heard or said anything bad to a Yankees fan about the Red Sox winning a World Series, they would come back and say 27 rings.
Yes.
And now we got people coming back and saying 6 rings for the New England Patriots. Our New England Patriots fans, as a collective, not the 4 of us on this podcast, our New England Patriots fans, the new Yankee fans, Mike.
Yes, and if you remember, I've been saying this since we were on the air at our alma mater, Dean College. I think that Patriot fans, for the most part, are insufferable right now, because it's always, the reason why I love them, because I'm here and I watch them. We all watch them with our family. I get it. That's our attachment, right? But like, they won games that they weren't supposed to, and nobody knew who they were, and they were the underdog. And then they went through like a 10-year period where they didn't win a damn thing. They got there, and fans were like, "Yeah, but in Bill we trust. Like, we still won 3 out of 4. We did this, we did that," and then they won again. And that comeback against the Falcons was great. But if you talk to a Patriot fan, like if you're like, "Hey, how come the defense is bad this year?" They'll be like, "We won 6 championships in the last 20 years." That's okay. Great. That's not the question I'm asking you. How do you win 6 in the next 20? Because now what I'm hearing from Patriot fans is, let's tank. Let's get a draft pick. Let's do this. That spits in the face of everything that you have been regurgitating and spewing to other people for the last 20 years. It's in Bill we trust. We're never going to be a bad team. We're going to do this. And now you want to tank? Figure it out. Be better.
The thing is, though, is I think that is a little more of the in Bill we trust than you think, because I think a lot of Patriots fans have this idea right now that Bill is a little smarter than what the NFL is giving him credit for this specific season. and that this is a covert tank. Colin Cowherd already had the take this past week. When it comes to what he's doing, I've never seen Bill do what he's doing with this season when it comes to Cam Newton and praising this. So but I agree with you 100% that they are the Yankee fans of the NFL, and there's no doubt about it.
But to your point, before you go, Rayshawn, to your point, Bob, about how he's so smart, is that really true? Because he's still drafting the Lawrence Taylor type of linebackers on defense that can't cover. They're just the 6'4", 260-pound linebackers that he's missed the boat there. So I think he's the greatest coach of all time. Nothing's ever going to change that. But Patriot fans need to be aware that when you are bad, people will talk to you about your team being bad, and you cannot say, well, we won 6 championships, because you have turned into the Yankee fans that you hated 15 years ago.
We have to go to Rayshawn, because when Rayshawn starts rubbing his eyes when it's Mike talking, there's very rarely a rift there. So Ray,
it's always a rift there. It's a natural rift.
Are you and Bobby? Are y'all serious? Like, yeah. you guys legitimately serious that we've become Yankee fans?
The majority of Patriot fans, yes.
That's a joke, dog. No, listen. All right, they've won 27 championships. We get that. But then, like I said, we've won 6 in the last 20 years. But I've said this on a previous show. Boston for the longest time has been considered a little brother. We have been. Unfortunately, that's just what it is. We've been a little brother. So, yeah, the little brother has been on top for a while. So, yeah, we're going to pump our chest a little bit, and that's okay. We should be allowed. But for them Yankee fans to still yell 27 championships when you've won 1 championship in the last 20 years, to me, that's a problem. And then also, too, because they've won, it was 1 in the last. I'm sorry. They won in 2000 and they won in 2009. I'm sorry. They did lose in 2003 to the Florida Marlins. My bad. Sorry. Revisionist history. Sorry. It's getting
okay.
The John Henry owned.
I'm just here
So
Great
sorry.
My bad. Podcast though, if anyone wants to listen to it.
Right. Yeah.
Really
but also, dude, to your point, not to hijack your statement, the majority of Patriot fans now that are fans of this team were not fans in the 90s. Like, they don't remember when it was bad.
But that's on them. They want to be dumb and don't remember Ben Coates and don't remember Curtis Martin and Otis Smith and those guys, and that's fine. That's on them. But we do. So we're not talking about us. Once again, you're talking about the Pink Hats. So the Pink Hats, if you want to fall off the bandwagon, that's on y'all. You want to be dumb and not root for this team going forward, that's on y'all. We don't care. We don't need you.
So 2 things. We already decided that Curtis Martin was a better Jet than a Patriot. So everybody can eat that one. Second is that a lot of the Pink Hats that haven't jumped off, the majority of the Patriots fans that are saying we've won 6 championships, those are Pink Hats.
Okay, listen. As I guess the resident Patriots fan all of a sudden of this podcast,
right?
You guys have a complicated relationship with your team. Here's why. And what I'm trying to sum up what everybody's trying to say. Yes, you were the little brother originally. For the majority of a Boston sports franchise fanhood, the Patriots were, as we've often talked about, and I'm sure you've often talked about with your close friends and family at home, that the New England Patriots were the runt of the litter. Am I wrong about that? Does anyone want to argue with that point?
No, you're right.
They were.
Okay.
The first 42 years of their franchise history, they were the runt of the litter.
So they were the runt of the litter. Then what happened? A very extreme pivot into not only not the runt of the litter of Boston sports franchises, the best Boston sports franchise in your era. Argue with me if you want about the Celtics, but in your era, the best, most winningest Boston sports franchise of your lifetime, and the best franchise of all of our generation's lifetime, no matter who you're a fan of. That's a complicated relationship. So what defines Patriots fanhood? Okay. And listen, I mean, we went into prepping this show with me saying, is there enough to talk about with the Patriots? And here we are spending the majority of
the entire show.
Here you are.
It's interesting.
And here we are. To the spokesperson, right?
Yeah, it's interesting, and here we are. So, like, I'm glad I asked the question, but I'm glad we're talking about it. It's a complicated relationship because what is a sports fandom relationship? Your dad's taught it to you. Your grandparents taught it to you. When you were told about the Patriots, most of you, I would think, I don't want to assume your narratives, but I bet you were told that they just weren't that great, and they probably weren't ever expected to be that great. You know, the only Super Bowl they ever appeared in one generation ago, they got spanked by the Bears. When you grew up, You then developed this identity as a Patriots fan. You developed the identity of we're the best football franchise, period. The only other franchise that could possibly compete with you is the Steelers. And in our era, they weren't as good. So, like, I'm just talking on Super Bowls and wins and stuff. So, once they
San
start
Francisco
to get,
too, but I got you.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying in our era, in our lifetime. Yeah. In our lifetime.
Oh, right.
There's another team with 5 too, for the record.
No,
sorry, I forgot what the Lone
They've
Star.
been real bad in our lifetime.
But point being, your identity with this team, I'm starting to realize, is so complicated because you were told they were bad, they turned out to be good, and then this is the really weird part: you were expecting them to get worse sooner than they got worse.
Yeah,
but Dave, they were bad. To cut in there, they were bad.
But never for us, though, really. 1 year.
For you, well, that's my point, Mike. You were waiting for so long for them to get bad. You were happy with 2. You were happy with 3. You were happy with 4. You were happy with 5. Damn, we got 6. And then all of a sudden and it was always, we're eventually going to get bad again. We're eventually going to get bad again. We're waiting for this identity to reform with the Patriots.
But it's happened with every franchise that was good.
Yes, but you don't know how to be the franchise that you are now.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying to you, and what Bobby's been trying to say to you from our perspective as non-Patriots fans, is that you guys are at the table now. You don't have to immediately run back to, okay, we're bad again. Okay, we're bad again. We're bad again. We're bad again. We're bad again. We're okay, whatever. We're the run to the litter. You're a good franchise now. Yeah. You're well run.
So, but to that point, there are good franchises that are run poorly. The San Francisco 49ers are not a well-run franchise.
You're both now. You're a good franchise and you're still well.
But the original question wasn't about the franchise. It was about the fans, Joe. And Joe, you're a Patriot fan and you're not a bad one.
But your fans need therapy, guys.
But hang on. That's the thing though, Dave, right? Like you're saying we need therapy, but that's right now. So to go on what your point is and to flip it on its head, I bet you that when 49er fans watch their 49ers team come off of that huge run, they fell off hard because after Steve Young was gone, they fell off. The Cowboys, after they won those Super Bowls in the 90s, they fell off.
It wasn't about coaching and GMing with the 49ers. It was about a quarterback. You guys had listen to me. Not only did you have the Joe Montana in Tom Brady, you had the GM, you had the owner. You're doing okay. Ryan Pace is my GM. He traded up for fucking Trubisky. You're fine. You know what I mean?
The F word is now at a 1 count on this show.
That's 2, actually. That's my second one.
Was that your second one? Wow, I missed it. Oh, wow. Yeah. We're on 3.
But so that's where I think the Yankees fan really comes off the clearest to me is like you guys, like DK said, Patriots fans have been waiting this forever. I've also been waiting for this forever, kind of just to see how, not you guys, but how the fan base would react. You know what I mean? To see exactly how everything would go down. And I have to say,
they're more insecure than they should be, right? That's the point.
Well, 100%, yes, because wait.
No, you guys are getting the perspective from me and Ray, who get to the point where we overreact in the moment, and you're getting it from us. But I can tell you from listening to Boston Sports Radio. Hang on, I can tell you from listening to Boston Sports Radio, it's actually a little more level-headed than you guys think, and I think that's partly because of what Bobby said, where or Rayshawn said, where everybody jumped on 95 and drove down to Tampa, because the people that were following the Patriots and actually cared about the Patriots when Tom Brady was here are no longer here. So the people that actually give a shit about the Patriots are not as reactionary as you may think.
But let me reiterate the point that your identity is currently forming as a fan base. Because you can have an identity as a winning team, but the counterpoint to that is what's always going to inform your identity as a fan base. Think about me and Bobby. We talk about this stuff all the time. Bobby's fan base, the Dallas Cowboys, is not only informed by the winning seasons, it's informed by the losing seasons. It's informed by the recent seasons. The Bears, Have they won in our lifetime? No, they showed up to one Super Bowl, which you guys tried to delete, which I'm still mad about. But But the Bears are a respected franchise. Their identity is something that can't be denied. If you're a Bears fan, it doesn't matter if they don't win the next 20 years. If you're a Bears fan, that's a better fandom than being a Washington football team fan. Fact. So when you're a Patriots fan, what you guys are going through right now, and I care about you two. And the point is, what you guys are going through is you're realizing that your identity as a fan base is now, which rarely happens. Most of the time in all sports, you come into an identity. You guys have the unique position to develop your identity as a fan base based on this bad season. Stay with Bill Belichick.
We were never jumping off that train.
Let me get into that, right? So I'll tell you what I think happened, whether it was with me. I can't speak for Joe, but maybe some other fans, right? So obviously, Brady leaves in March, and obviously, everyone's in utter and complete shock, and it's like, damn, what are we gonna do? And then so kind of the offseason kind of goes, and then Dave, as you pointed out on the previous show, it's like, oh, I can't believe you guys really sat there and try to talk yourselves into having Jarrett Stidham as the quarterback, and all this other weird stuff happened. So, I think we were already kind of preparing for the worst. And then it's like, oh, okay, you get Cam Newton. Oh, he's a former MVP. Then he comes out in the first game, has 155 yards passing, which isn't great, but it's better than what we might have expected. Has 75 on the ground.
Fun.
Right, offense looked fun, right? Then they go to Seattle. He throws for 397. Edelman has a career day. Then they come back next week against against Vegas. And they beat them by 16. So you're like, oh, wait a minute. Like, have we found our Kawhi Leonard to our Tim Duncan? Like, because we've been the Spurs. That's what we've been. We're the Spurs of the NFL. That's what we've been.
Yes.
And so it's like now it's the Yankees. Yeah. So exactly. So screw
but the Spurs of the Yankees of the NBA, just for the record.
So that's the thing though. So it's like we thought, okay, wait, have we found our Kawhi Leonard to Tim Duncan? Oh, well, maybe we can still get to a conference championship, or maybe we can get to a divisional round, and then Cam gets COVID, Edelman gets hurt, Gilmore gets hurt, and it's like, oh shit. We're sorry. We suck. And that's where it comes from, Mike. So it's not like, we should just say no. If I realize we don't have a chance right now, we have a chance to rebuild, like Bobby said, and we're still trusting in Bill to still build a team up the middle, then go get that top 10 pick. Don't get a freaking lineman from Alabama. Get Zach Wilson or Justin Fields or Trey Lance, and let's start over and let's run the AFC like we've been running for the last 20 years.
I guess my question though, my overall arching point, Bobby, I'm sorry for cutting you off. I'll be really quick. Right, is like, was there any difference between a 2004 fan of the Yankees after the Red Sox won the World Series than there was a 2013 Patriots fan? Right, we had not won in 10 years, and we were still telling people that we are the best team there. Like, we won 3, and Bill Brady's the best. Like, in reality, that's when but we're fans. So I'm going to say we. That's when we were at our most insufferable. We had not done a damn thing in 10 years, and we're still telling people that we're the best, we're the greatest. That's when it became a little bit of the Yankee syndrome.
That's when I jumped off. I have to let you know that is when I decided that it was more of like I can't keep, especially because the Patriots kept winning and the Cowboys kept losing. It was something where like my
Bobby, we have discovered across the narrative of this podcast that you're just a masochist and you like to feel pain.
It is true. It is true.
So you were like, hey, my dad's a Cowboys fan, so I'm just going to go root for them.
I think you saw the most pain available and you jumped on that pain bandwagon.
That is
like,
exactly.
Hey, listen, I stayed on the rest of them for your therapist, not for this podcast.
But speaking of therapy, when it comes to the Patriots, I think that what makes us stand out so much more above everything else is the fact that you guys are finally seeing how much you appreciate the winning when you get to this point. And I think that that's something that Patriots fans almost forgot about, is how much it sucks and how low that basement really is. So that way, when you brought it up to them, at least for this season, when they've been in this place in the past, they get so mad and they don't let you go to that point because of the fact that they haven't been there before.
I think Patriot fans forgot the chase. We just assumed the end point.
But I think it's interesting you bring that up, Bobby, because I think going back to Mike's point of the Patriots fan base was at its most insufferable in 2013, 2014, right around the time we had the 3 and had lost 2, right? We were 3-2 going into that 2013 season in Super Bowls. So that we were insufferable because we still had the guy. Everybody at that point thought that Tom Brady was just going to last forever. He was going to be here forever. And part of it, to go back to my point of the Belichick Brady rift, where Belichick he drafted who he thought was going to be the next guy. I think we can all agree on that. He drafted Jimmy Garoppolo and honestly thought he was going to be the next guy. I think we can all agree on that. The Patriots fan base would agree on that. Nobody really wanted
Bill
that to
Belichick
happen.
would agree on that too, by the way.
But that's what I'm saying. But so here's where I think that we as a fan base thought that when Tom Brady was gone and Jimmy Garoppolo was still here, we had our Steve Young to Joe Montana. We had our guy. Yes. And then guess what? Robert Kraft makes a deal with Tom.
The owner
Brady
of the 1994 San Francisco 49ers had the balls to trade Joe Montana, though, unfortunately. So
just for the record, Jimmy G was not.
You guys went on to win a Super Bowl, so
Jimmy G was not that, for the record.
We don't know that. But
we do know that. We do know that because he got hurt. He got hurt a million times
every single year.
Steve Young he had a better.
Jimmy G is not Steve Young.
No. Steve Young, this is a whole different podcast. Steve Young had a better team around him at the time that he took over as quarterback because the owner of the San Francisco 49ers saw that it was time to move on from Joe Montana. But guess what?
It was time to move on from Joe Montana because of how good Steve Young was, though.
Robert Kraft did not see that it was time to move on from Tom Brady and kept him around, even though his general manager wanted to. Even though his general manager wanted to treat Tom Brady the same way he had treated Lawyer Malloy, he had treated Asante Samuel, Ty Law, the list goes on. He wanted to treat him the same way. So we've now gone into we're coming into the last half hour of the show in about 5 minutes. So there is a couple topics I want to throw out there so that Dave and I can stop jumping all over each other here.
Sorry.
No. This has been great. Yeah. No, don't be sorry. Literally, don't be sorry.
You guys say I'm calm. It's just because you guys are doing all my interrupting tonight. So I don't have to do it. You know what I mean? It's just you guys just do it for me. It's great.
There's a lot to talk about.
I've been trying really hard not to interrupt tonight, and it's been going okay, slightly okay.
Doing good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm really getting antsy over here. But it's also because, Bobby, the Cowboys aren't playing, so you're not as neurotic today.
Yeah, I'm really. It's great.
I want to get away from the NFL, and there's a reason why. There is an NBA draft in 4 days. This year is going to be really weird with the NBA because the NBA is going to have a draft in November, and then they're going to have another draft in June. So it's really, really freaking weird. But over the last few weeks, there has also been some Celtics rumors that have been flying around. So I really want to touch on this. The NBA season starts on December 22nd this year. They have the NBA and the Players Association has agreed on a condensed 72 game season, which is something they were working towards anyway, because they wanted to do something like international soccer does and put a tournament in the middle of their season, which most of the international basketball associations do as well. But the first question I want to pose, and this is going to be directly at Rayshawn and some at Bobby too, because this is something you guys were talking about and we floated in the Slack the other day. Is Gordon Hayward on the move?
Yeah. So
go ahead, Ray.
I think that he is, but Celtics fans, I want you to understand what's coming out of my mouth, what's coming out of DK's mouth, what's coming out of Bob's mouth. A lot of these deals that involve Gordon Hayward cannot happen unless he opts in.
Yeah, that's
we do not get the money if he opts out, y'all. So this is not last year what happened with Al Horford or with Kyrie. This is a whole different situation. So I want y'all to hear that clearly. I want y'all to understand that and not flip out like I may flip out when Danny does nothing come Tuesday or Wednesday. If Gordon Hayward does not opt in, we cannot get certain deals to happen. That being said, I believe that if he likes the Indiana deal, meaning Gordon Hayward, because he's from there and they just had the fourth child. I think that he does choose to opt in because 34.2 It's just really hard to pass. You saw it happen with Mike Conley as well over in Utah. He just opted in for his $34.2 million option too for the next year. So that's just hard to pass in this current climate of the NBA. Nevertheless, Gordon Hayward should be on the move, whether it's to New York, whether it's to Indiana. I'm hoping they able, I feel like it should be like a 3-team deal though. Like I feel like it shouldn't be just with another team. Like I do like the one in Indiana talking about with McDermott and TJ McConnell and Miles Turner, but I do hope that the third team gets involved so that we're still able to add more things off the bench. So Gordon Hayward should be on the move.
I think that you and I in private off the podcast have argued about Gordon Hayward a lot.
Are you guys friends off the air?
Yeah, we all talk in the Slack. So glad you've come around to my point that like I love the idea of Gordon Hayward as like the last piece of that puzzle. But yes, 100% he needs to move on. He's a team player. He's gonna opt in and let us trade his contract. I really believe that that's the favor that he's gonna do to the Boston Celtics and to Brad Stevens. Knowing what I know about Gordon Hayward, I really do think that that's true. If your trade option is true, and I intentionally didn't participate in this in our group chat. Describe to me the two pieces of the trade you just said. It's Turner and who else?
So Turner, TJ McConnell, and Doug McDermott.
Yeah.
So
okay, McDermott's the biggest piece of that, right? So
agreed.
No, Miles Turner is not McDermott. In my opinion.
But the biggest piece to the point I'm about to make, I'm a little sick, and listen, I love Danny Ainge, and I think he's a great GM. I'm a little sick of the constant rebuild. It's time with Tatum and Brown, and it's tough to switch into these gears because, like, listen, I go to sleep thinking about Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but I'm a little sick of the rebuild. I think we're one big man away, one real true big man away from making a run. And I'm really sick of buying time with young prospects and pieces. And I really think that you could make this go on forever. You could really make this go on forever. You could build young pieces and draft picks around Tatum and Brown for forever, and then get another Tatum and Brown. But you'll consistently lose in the Eastern Conference playoffs, get made fun of by Yankees fans that just go and Yankees, Lakers, same thing. Get made fun of by Lakers
Patriots.
fans that just at Patriots, San Antonio Spurs. Just go and get the pieces that get you a championship. You know what I mean? Like, how long is this rebuild going to take, Ray? But tell me, give me a year timeline. Rayshawn Buchanan, how many years is this rebuild going to take? Because this rebuild has been already taken 6 years.
Yeah. I mean, it's happened during the Brad Stevens era. I mean, granted,
Can he coach a superstar? Because he couldn't coach Kyrie.
I've said this off the air to people. He has to coach what I call a mid-major superstar, right? 100%. So Hayward, obviously, lack of a better word, is a mid-major superstar. Tatum and Brown, because they're mild-mannered, are mid-major type superstars. So I think that's why they're on the team. And we talked a little bit about that with Josue Pavone. That could be in the show notes as well. But Josue talked about how Jaylen Brown was really a Brad guy, right? And I knew nothing about Jaylen coming out of California because I really didn't watch the Pac-12. But
you knew he was a freak athlete with.
I knew he was a freak athlete.
He was Jeff Green 2.0 coming out of college.
Right,
but that's unfair at this point.
At this point, yes, coming out of college, though.
Yeah, but that's what pissed that. But to your point, Bobby, that's what pissed me off that he would have been compared to Jeff Green because Jeff Green was
because he kind of looks like him.
No, not even that.
They have
athletic ability. Builds. He can't shoot when he came out of college.
No, but
Jeff Green is not the athlete that Jaylen Brown is. No,
he's not. But it's not even that. It's Jeff Green was always comfortable with being very good. And if that was the case, I didn't want Jaylen Brown to be in that mode of someone who was just comfortable being very good. Now, Jaylen Brown has taken increments in his game every year, and that's what has put him in that fringe all-star category. And eventually,
I would gamble on JB personally. So I would honestly gamble on JB before I would gamble on Tatum. Now, listen, I'm not the GM of the Boston Celtics, but from what I've seen, attitude-wise from those two guys, Jaylen Brown is a winner. He's a try-hard guy till the whistle. Tatum The things that make me mad about Jason Tatum are not his technical ability. He's a great shooter. He's clutch. We know that. Like he went and did the Kobe thing. Like I really hate that we let a Laker anywhere near our best prospect.
That killed him that entire season.
Yeah, not cool that we, and rest in peace, Kobe. Like, no, I'm not being disrespectful to his memory, but we should have let him anywhere near a Celtic. But listen, I mean, Jaylen Brown is the attitude guy of the Boston Celtics. If we were going to keep a piece, it should be him, not Tatum. Tatum, we could get a lot for right now. If we're going to trade anyone, or we're going to talk about what we're going to build around. To your point, Ray. To your point, you might not think so, but to your point, Jaylen Brown's the guy. I
mean, it's possible. Sorry, but it's possible because Tatum wasn't involved in this deal, but Tatum, when he was on all the Smoke podcast, once again, not a sponsor, sorry, Craig, but with Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes, Tatum alluded to wanting to play with Devin Booker. When the 2017 draft was happening.
Great. So, those are going to be really great regular season highlights that don't result in a championship, and I'm not interested.
No, right. But Devin Booker, I don't know, because there's another guy that was also drafted at 13 that turned out to be great too. Shout out to Kobe. But Devin Booker can ball. That guy is 26, 6 and 5 on a regular basis.
If I said to you that you can't win with a guard, would you disagree with me?
Yes, you can't win with a guard.
You can't win with a guard.
I would 1,000% agree with you.
Yeah. As your best player,
as your best player, yeah. As your best player, your best player can't be a guard.
Booker's not better than Tatum. I'm just saying, I just think that I feel like those guys together, because I feel like there was times
they're not better than Durant and Kyrie, though. You know what I mean, in the East.
Yeah, so but my thing is, everyone's putting, and I get it. Everyone's putting KD and Kyrie on the pedestal already. But there's so many variables that happen, and also
what variables? That Nets team made the playoffs without them.
Wait.
Right, yeah, but if Kyrie has to be healthy.
Back up.
Go ahead, buddy.
As we're talking about rebuilding, though, and this trade isn't that, though. This trade is exactly what we're looking for. Is we are looking for that big man down low, and that's what Miles Turner is. He is a body that will get you rebounds, that will be the guy that you need to give you that strength on that front line. So, I mean, you look at just giving up Hayward and getting back a Miles Turner in response. That is a deal that brings this team to that next spot that we're looking for. We're not looking to rebuild with that deal.
But think the mid-major point that Ray made. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, does Miles Turner not just make us consistently more average?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He's an Al Horford. He's an Al Horford with attitude. Is what Miles Turner's is, though.
We're missing a winning piece. We're not missing a consistent big man. We're missing a big man that can win you a game.
Right, but
yeah, but you're not going to get a Joel Embiid.
I do think Miles Turner.
Right, but I wouldn't want a Joel Embiid. He can't win you a series. Like, that's a different conversation. But I would love a Karl Anthony Towns. I would love a KAT.
But to do that is you need to be able to retool. Exactly, you're giving up a big piece to do those, though. If you want to stick with this core, a deal like that Miles Turner trade.
I'm not saying stick with this core. I'm saying move Tatum.
You want to? So you really want?
You're drunk. No, I'm not moving.
No, I actually legitimately am drunk. But like, move Tatum. No, I'm serious. Move Tatum. Tatum.
That's not.
Yeah, dude, bro, I'm telling you.
Just so everyone knows,
what was the thing
being
that
drunk?
We were mad about?
Hang on, being drunk is not a sponsor.
What was the thing that we were mad about in that series? He hasn't stepped up, guys. Like,
right, but I'm not Tatum and Brown. Those
yeah, I don't think we're at that point yet.
Yeah, we're not at that point yet.
We're not at that point.
That's what I'm saying. How long are we going to rebuild for? Like,
we're not rebuilding.
We're 2 games away from going to the finals.
Right, we're trying to take a team.
We've always been 2 games away from going to the finals. How long are we going to be Eastern Conference?
Since Doc Rivers was here.
That's right.
Right, but the thing is,
but they made the finals. Sorry.
But the thing is last year. But look at that team and what they were missing. That team isn't a blow it up type of team. This isn't the Dallas Cowboys who were average every single year.
Is Jason Tatum is Jason? Are you telling me that you know for a fact that Jason Tatum is the kind of winner that he can be the best player on a championship team?
I know. I don't. I think he is. Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let me take. Hang on. Let me take this and let's frame it this way. Okay. Dave is under the impression that it's a rebuild, right?
Not a rebuild. It's been under construction for too long.
So you're saying it's under construction for too long, and Rayshawn and Bobby are the obvious of we're 2 games away from the NBA Finals all the time, right? We're always 2 games away from the NBA Finals. So this Wednesday, November 18th at 8 p.m. is the 2020 NBA Draft. The Boston Celtics have pick number 14, pick number 26, number 30. Hang on, pick number
right now.
Pick number 30 and pick number 47. So, as Dave said, they've been under construction for too long, and I'm going to go to you guys and say I think that they understand that. I think that Trader Danny and Brad understand that. So, if we've talked about the Gordon Hayward trade. Those 4 picks. Let's go with Dave's narrative. They're not going to use them. What do they do with them?
I think that they should. I mean, I'm just going to float a theory out here because I think you guys have the PhDs in basketball. I just have a master's. Would you like to trade up all those picks for the big man from USC?
Hell yeah.
I think you might have to move something else there. But
that's cool. So okay,
I don't think we get it, but yes, I would do that deal for sure.
But
I don't think we get it.
We talked about Bam being the guy in the Miami series. It wasn't Jimmy Butler. Bam won in that series.
Bam was hurt by the way in the finals. Bam was hurt in the finals, so like give him some credit.
Right. But that is Bam 2.0. He's just not the playmaker that Bam is. But he can 100%. Defend. He can shoot.
Brad Stevens could make him that playmaker though. Yes.
Right. That kind of fits your. I would absolutely get him.
But the thing is,
though, so what does he give this team more upside next year?
Yes.
Then what Miles Turner.
It's all upside.
I disagree with that. But if you take Miles Turner, insert him into this team, Miles Turner was the Pacers' second best player, and that is a playoff team.
The Pacers didn't do shit, Bobby.
But let
me tell you something. I'll just tell you this right now, and I'm going to put words in both of your mouths. If we draft those draft picks, if we draft 14, 26, and
30 and 47.
Okay, if we draft those draft picks, I'm out on this Celtics team.
I agree. I think,
and so are you guys, by the way. So are you guys.
Take those picks, move them, and bring in a Miles Turner in another secondary.
But that is just you're just increasing the averageness.
I disagree completely. Miles Turner is an all-star power forward center. And you guys are completely.
We already had Al Horford, Bobby. That's not the piece we're missing.
But so you're saying you bring in another young guy who you have to sit there and develop and turn into exactly what Miles Turner already is.
I'm gonna make it real simple. We don't need a playmaking big man. We need a rebounder and a board crasher. And that's what we've been missing for the past 7 seasons.
Miles Turner is 14 and 12 every single season.
But that's not how he fits into a Brad Stevens offense, Bobby. You know that. You know that he's going to look like a mitigated version of Al Horford. He's going to go early, and he's going to pass early, and he's going to make plays like simply in the pocket, right? Like that's what's going to happen. What we need is a athletic, the Time Lord ceiling is what we're looking for.
Well, that's what that kid out of USC, he has that.
Exactly.
The guy we talked about with
I'd rather gamble on that.
Right.
Then yes.
But the kid we also talked about with Josue, Bobby, Precious Achiuwa out of Memphis, who was James Wiseman's teammate. Precious Achiuwa could jump out the building. Like that dude is an NBA defender right now. And to me, he fits more.
I forgot there was such a thing as an NBA defender, but yes, I agree.
I'm saying but I remember Doc Rivers said that about Avery Bradley. He was right when he came out of Texas. He said Avery Bradley right now is an NBA defender.
Yeah, because it's easy to play defense in the NBA right now, though, if you're athletic. But yes, I agree with you.
Right, but I'm saying, Avery Bradley couldn't shoot when he came in, but he could lock down whoever you put in front of him. So that's what I think. That's what the
best one-on-one defender on the team in the last 6 years, other than Marcus Smart. I would agree. Yes.
Absolutely.
Don't we also trust Brad's ability to if they can get the kid from USC? Is it Onyeka Okongwu? I don't know the
Okongwu, yeah. Mm-hmm.
If they can get him, don't we trust Brad's ability to develop him to be?
I honestly don't know. He got out coached in that last series. Brad got out coached in that last series, so I'm really not sure.
Well, not for big men as much. He's really great with guards. Like he's phenomenal with point guards.
He can't win with guards, so I don't care about that.
I want to add to the point that you made about the rebuild, right? Because I think this gets lost in translation because of how it happened. So in 2017, obviously, we trade for Kyrie, Hayward comes, and then, you got Al Horford the year before. I really think that in 2017, Danny Ainge really did push all the chips to the table and said, okay, I want to win with Kyrie. We signed Horford.
And he got lucky. He made it out of that deal.
No, he did. But what I'm saying is that they gave their final, because we've been clamoring, especially me. I'm like, get rid of the Brooklyn pick, and so he finally does that. Right?
Too long. I agree.
Right. So I think so, yeah. But I think also the A plan really was Kyrie and Anthony Davis. It just was. People could say what they want. Like, it was. Yeah, that was it was going to get Kyrie and AD.
But Anthony Davis was Kevin Durant 2.0, right? It was just like, you don't want to come play in Boston. We thought we were going to get you, but you just don't want to come play in Boston because the market sucks. And apparently we were fucking racist in like 1970, so nobody wants to come play for us.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, he got his first ring. Congrats, but it is what it is. But I just know that was what Danny Ainge's plan was, and
that plan didn't pan out. It just didn't pan out.
But he had to morph it on the fly. So to still, like I said, they've had an all-star guard here every year of Brad Stevens' tenure here, except for the first year. Like, so that part is not the problem. But one, can this team stay healthy, right? And then two, can can they continue to have that player development? So do I think Okongwu from USC would be the best fit if they do it? Yes. I still like Halliburton. I've been telling you guys about that for 3 or 4 shows. Like Halliburton from Iowa State to me, and it's funny because now he's starting.
That's another big upside guy, though, Ray.
Tom.
See, I just have such a different mindset when it comes to this offseason. It's like, I'm not trying to bring a rookie into this team, guys. You guys talk about what you guys keep talking about.
We're not talking about another kind of rookie like the Time Lord with a big upside. We're talking about the USC guy is a ready-made guy. He can come in and be legit.
But is he? We don't know. We don't. I just don't know if this team is ready to bring in another unknown. I feel like the way to go with this team is to move those picks and bring.
By October, that guy's starting.
But listen, we only have 1 month. This isn't a normal NBA offseason. We have 1 month until tip off of the regular season.
Okay, well then draft. Well then draft if that's the case. Draft well, because nobody wants to trade with Danny Ainge. So what we have here is we have an opportunity to draft the biggest upside big man of the entirety of this rebuild process. And if you go with this dude from USC, barring injury, he has the potential to be our starting five, at the 5 spot by October. You know what I mean? Like he could be a playoff 39 to 43 minute guy by October. We will not get the guy that you want, Bobby. I know that what you're saying, and Bobby, I love you for it. You're an optimist, but nobody wants to give Danny Ainge anything because you get embarrassed when you trade with Danny Ainge. What we have left is we have a draft pick left, and this guy is on the board. If we could trade up, I think it's unrealistic because I think we'd have to give those 3 picks away, plus Gordon Hayward, plus probably something else to get him. I really do think so. Probably. Well, Marcus Smart, I'm okay with because perimeter defenders apparently are not as important as we thought. But like
perimeter defenders that throw up 22 threes a game are not.
I that's a different conversation,
guys. I think really what needs to happen here to be the Mike Marcangelo voice of reason is that if you want to get to the point that you want to go to, you have to move Hayward. You have to get those pieces. I think Miles Turner is one of those pieces. So I'm going to jump on that with Bobby. However, I am with Dave on the fact that they don't need to use those picks, and if they can move those picks for the big man or a big man and package something together, then they can move on and get over that hump of Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals.
So I want to add to that, right? So I think
30 seconds.
Okay, cool. So go, right? So
go. Can I get 32?
No, you got 30 as well.
Right. And in a perfect setting, like I would want the guy from USC and Miles Turner. Because if I could get both of those guys on the team,
I'm with that.
Now you're talking about something.
No chance. No chance.
No, but I'm saying if you trade that up and you get that pick, because they were saying to use that for Drew Holiday, which even though I like him, we don't need him here.
That USC guy. I mean, this is what we do as Celtics fans, right? I'm sorry, I'm interrupting your 30 seconds, but
this is getting into the state of the sizzle. I'm just throwing that out there.
This is what we do as Celtics fans, right? We optimize, and like that USC guy is going to be on the Suns in 2 years. So it's
right. Playing like Josh Jackson, who's not even in the league anymore.
Yeah, and it sucks, but it's true. I thought Kevin Durant was going to be a Celtic. So anyway, sorry.
That I don't think we need that playmaking five. I think you guys have PTSD from Bam Adebayo absolutely dominating us.
I didn't say playmaking. I said board crashing. Board crashing.
I still think it's PTSD,
and
I don't think that it's as important as we need that. I think we need someone down low who has the presence, and I think that's what we were missing in that Eastern Conference Finals, is someone to actually even put a little intimidation into Bam Adebayo, and we didn't have that. I don't think it needs to be a superstar. It needs to be more than Daniel Tice, I can tell you that. And second point is we definitely deal those picks for someone else. It's not going to be a rookie.
If we draft those picks,
it's not. We're not bringing a rookie.
Draft those picks on
They may
There's
draft,
no way
they may trade a pair of picks up to get a better pick, but there's no way they use the 4 picks they have.
If the number 14th pick of the NBA draft goes and plays on the Boston Celtics, this rebuild is failed.
They won't.
If they make a move for the 5th pick, they're trading it and then put money down.
Sure.
I can guarantee that.
Sure, but if the 14th overall pick of the NBA draft plays in the Boston Celtics next year, don't even watch.
Well, maybe Danny shouldn't have fleeced the Brooklyn Nets back.
Tyler Herro was the 14th pick,
and we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Sure, it's meta because at the end of the day, it's meta because what he did was he made the best trade in the history of the NBA, but then it didn't win him a championship, and now no one wants to trade with him. That was your point, right, Ray? Nobody wants to mess with Danny now.
Right, yeah.
So what I'm saying is,
he can't fleece them, it's a problem.
He can't, because nobody wants to be on the other end of a Danny pick. You know what you need to do now? You need to draft. You need to make the best possible pick in the draft. And I think Danny knows that. I really do. And I think if he gets us a good big man, I've been saying for months.
I'm gonna say 3 guys, and I'll give it to Joe.
We're a big man away from a championship. That is our problem, right?
On this note, we need to have an NBA show.
Yeah, right, we do. 3 guys, and then we got to move on.
All right, so 3 guys. So Precious Achiuwa, Tyrell Terry from Stanford University, and then Jaden Smith from Maryland. Those 3 guys. Think about those 3 guys. They might draft at 14, 26, and 30 if they don't move them.
All right, so we have 2 big NFL games coming up to this group anyway. Again, for the 5th time, it's just to make Bobby at ease. Is that his Dallas Cowboys are not playing this week? Deep breath for Bob Kelly. But guess who is playing tonight? The New England Patriots against the Baltimore Ravens. And tomorrow night, it's Dave's Bears against the Minnesota Vikings. I can tell you one of those teams has a better chance of winning their game. And Dave, tell me why it's the Bears.
It's actually not the Bears, Joe. Unfortunately.
The Bears are going to.
It's definitely the Bears.
The Bears are going to beat the Vikings.
Okay, yes, of course they have a better chance of winning their game than the Cowboys, but of the Patriots.
Same at this point.
Same at this point, but like I said to you guys a few weeks ago when I couldn't make the show, weirdly with a winning record of 5-1, I was out on Matt Nagy, and the reason why is because I think he's a coward. I think that what he does is he tries to keep his job. I think he's a nice guy, but it's the Matt Nagy show in his head. He's trying to get paid throughout the end of the season, and I think he knows his time is up. The guy can't run an offense. Nick Foles is a decent quarterback. Mitch Trubisky is a below average quarterback. That offense is so embarrassingly bad, and a 5-1 offense, a 5-1 team with an offense that is that bad it's such a weird thing to try to defend. Our defense is okay. This bend don't break thing we're trying to do is fine, but if you're going to do the bend don't break thing, you have to have a good offense. Yeah, they're 5-4 and they're on a 3-game skid. You guys remember the Patriots year where I feel like you almost won a Super Bowl with the bend don't break thing with that narrative, but
2011.
Yeah, exactly. And it was because you had a decent offense. You can bend, don't break, and give your offense decent field position. If Nick Foles goes 3 and out or throws picks, it doesn't matter. But, bend, don't break doesn't mean anything unless your offense can convert the not breaking into points. So we knew this, we knew this going in, that they were kind of pretenders, whatever. I think Nagy is just scared. And I think that's the thing that he does incorrectly. I think that he can kind of put the right people in to a defense. I think that he can win divisional games when it counts, which is big for Bears fans. And I'm with them on that. I think it's big that he can beat the Packers. It's big that he can beat the Vikings. I think that we're going to win the Monday night game. But overall, I'm sick of it. Just like I was saying about the Celtics, like I'm sick of it. I want to build a team that can win. I genuinely think Nick Foles could run an offense that can get us where we need to be, but they call the wrong plays. And if you're 5-2 and your head coach is taking over play calling, that's a problem. You know what I mean? Like if you're 3-0 and you're switching out your quarterback, that's a problem. And Matt Nagy is not a leader in that sense. And it switched for me really drastically. Like, I don't know exactly what happened, but like I was all in on him. He was a young coach. We were cool. And now it's like, dude, you're just doing the wrong thing. So yeah, are the Patriots going to win? Or, I'm sorry, are the Patriots going to lose on Sunday? Probably. Or the Bears going to win on Monday? Probably. But that doesn't mean that the Bears are any better than we thought they were, or the Patriots are any worse than.
They're exactly.
Hang on, maybe Matt Nagy is just listening to the guy in the seat.
They're who we thought they were, and we let him off the hook.
That's right.
Exactly
right.
who they thought.
So now that we've gotten our thoughts on the Monday Night Football game between the Bears and the Vikings, Rayshawn, I want you to give us your thoughts on tonight's Sunday night game, which will be kicking off momentarily in like 25 minutes between the Patriots and the Ravens.
So I've been back and forth about this all week, thinking like, okay, what's going to happen? We barely beat the Jets, and, we're basically a team that's in mediocrity right now. That's just a fact. I have a funny feeling we're going to upset them tonight, and I don't want it to happen because it's like, damn, like I don't want false hope. I don't want what's happened with Bobby the last 25 years where they're getting there, they win in November, they win in December, and
they yell at me when I bring up this point. And they yell at me when I bring up the point.
And it's just like, yeah, but it fits my narrative. Shout out to Mike. No, but it's just like, damn, like, I don't want them to keep building hope, and then bam, it just drops from underneath me and the season's over. So it's like, I have a feeling they're going to upset Baltimore tonight, but I hope I'm wrong. But yeah, I mean, whatever, have it on the record. Patriots win 24-21.
It also really hurts. It also really hurts our predictions, Ray, if the Patriots upset the Ravens tonight. So,
right, exactly, right.
Mike, go ahead.
Here's what I'm going to tell you: either the Patriots are going to get their absolute asses kicked, and it's going to be like it will be like a 30-point blowout, or they're going to win. They will not lose a close game. They will not lose a close game to them. So it will either be a blowout or a win. And I think that if the Bears lose to the Vikings. That's because I think the Vikings are trash, and I think that the Bears are really good. So I think that the Bears are going to actually handily defeat the Vikings on Monday Night Football. But I think either way, like if the Patriots beat the Ravens, I'm going to tell you at 4-5, I don't feel any better about them. So like it'll be a great win, and I don't really like the Ravens.
Same thing.
Yeah,
good point.
But I think like. It will not be a close loss. That's what I'm going to say. It's going to be a blowout if we lose.
I have to say, as just to interject at the end here, Joe. Like, and I know we're running out of time. The Bears are the Steelers light, and I think that we really did a bad. We really should have talked about the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, hang on a second. We can do whatever the hell we want.
Wait a second. Do I get to talk about those games?
What games?
You hate the Patriots. Wait.
I have.
We do a 2-hour show once a month on a Sunday, and that's what we do. Now, had
everyone
Dave
else
and I not
points about the games,
that's true. Craig didn't, and I didn't really say much about it.
All I'm gonna say is I really think the Bears would be a problem in this NFL if they had any offense whatsoever.
That's very complimentary, but they don't have any offense.
Right.
And the problem actually isn't even quarterback. The problem is we have good running backs, and they don't have an offensive line that's run blocking at all. So they just aren't. I have to interject this. The Steelers spanked the Bengals today. The Steelers are the favorite to win the Super Bowl now.
We have to talk about the Steelers.
We have to talk about them. It's so important.
But the Bengals are 2-5-1.
But it doesn't make a difference.
No.
But it's the same thing as the Giants beating the Eagles. You have to talk about it.
Yes, it's not. The Steelers are 9-0, Joe.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying is, if you want to put more weight on a divisional game, I'm agreeing with you. I'm just going to it in a roundabout
All right,
way.
well then, fair enough.
All right, Dave, you've been very angry for the last hour and 57 minutes. No, but I'm agreeing with you. If we're going to it in a roundabout way, the Steelers just beat a divisional opponent with a very good rookie quarterback and a head coach that I've actually underestimated. Though they're not very good,
Bobby called it. Bobby called it. The Bengals are decent.
He did. He did, and they're not a bad 2-6-1. They're really
and Burrow's going to be good.
But let's run over a little bit here. Let's make this more than 2 hours. Let's make Craig's life a living hell, and let's talk about the Steelers because they're 9-0.
The Pittsburgh Steelers, and I want you guys to let this next point land in the way that it's supposed to. This is the best franchise start for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, this is not the Arizona Cardinals. This is not the Washington football team. This is the Pittsburgh Steelers, the best NFL franchise in the history of the NFL, in my humble opinion. Only battled by the New England Patriots of the past 20 years. The Pittsburgh Steelers have never started better than 7-0. Now they're 9-0. And you know why they're 9-0? Do you? Their defense. Yes. Is Ben Roethlisberger good? Totally. Is he having a career year off of surgery? Unbelievable. Well, totally. Their defense. Go ahead, Bob. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
I'm just going to kind of cut in here. They're also 9-0 because they have one of the easiest schedules I've ever seen this year.
Untrue.
No. Just wait. They've beat the Giants, the Broncos, the Texans, the Eagles, the Browns.
Okay.
That's five of their wins.
And barely beat the Cowboys.
That's five of their wins.
Hold on a second. You can only play the teams put in front of you, and you can never count out the Pittsburgh Steelers because of the division that they're in.
Sure.
Okay. The teams that are in Pittsburgh division has always consisted of the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens are also, as we have just come off talking about, the team of the AFC sleeper watch, right? The Pittsburgh Steelers are so legit. When they were 12 points up on the Cincinnati Bengals today, I was watching the game, or I peeped the game as I was trying to get this together with our live show. It was such a heavy 12 points, guys. That 12 points was that the game was over by 12-0. The game was done. This Pittsburgh Steelers defense is legit because of their defense. They are so good. They went 8-8 with a downed franchise quarterback last season. We knew they were going to be a little bit better. We did not know they were going to be this much better. Their offense can produce. By the way, what does Bob Kelly always talk about? Championship DNA, X, Y, Z. Their special teams is good. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a great special teams.
Always good.
But that means something in a championship season. That means something. Do I think they're going to go 16-0? My tone kind of intimated that I didn't. I actually think they might. They legitimately might. They might go 16-0 and then win a Super Bowl. Would that not really make you mad as Patriots fans? This is the narrative season. This is the season of narratives. They might do it. They're so good, guys. Ben Roethlisberger's playing out of his mind.
So the Pittsburgh Steelers could very well go 16-0. And as a Patriots fan, speaking from my perspective, it would not upset me because as much as Patriots fans have wanted to hate the Pittsburgh Steelers in the past, and maybe we did in the early 2000s.
They're your rival, right? If they're your rival, you're
sort
doing
of. Well. The rival of the New England Patriots has changed as time has gone on. There was a point where it was the Steelers. There was a point where it was the Colts. There was a point where it was even the Jets, but there was a point where it was the Steelers. But I almost look at the Steelers a lot of the way I look at the Yankees now as a fan who has matured. I didn't know do we really hate the Yankees of the 90s? No, yes. I didn't because it was a great team.
No, you don't now, but you did then.
I may have then, but I don't hate.
That's so revisionist because now that we're one of them,
we never won a World Series.
We're not one of them. We're not one of them. We're the San Antonio Spurs of the NFL, as Rayshawn said. But to go along with Mike's point,
Spurs, Joe, it's just that Bill Belichick is the Popovich of the NFL.
I just want to point out
franchise to franchise.
I just want to point out that when speaking about the New England Patriots fan base, Bobby and Dave today have both said we. Just throwing that out there. So and also to
how
Mike's
much of
point,
a family we are.
to Mike's point, the Pittsburgh Steelers going into the NFL season had the 31st straight lowest.
Their opponent's record was 117 and 139 based off last year.
Like you can only beat the teams that are put in front of you.
You can only play who's put in front of you. It just so happens that the first 9 teams that were put in front of them, 5 of them were shitty teams, and but they did their job. They did what they were supposed to do. They won.
Not had the same fate against the same opponents relatively, and
True.
you know the team directly above them in strength of schedule, the Dallas Cowboys, and they've had an awful year.
Well, okay, but again, the Steelers have a Hall of Fame.
Go ahead and make Dave's point.
A Hall of Fame quarterback. They have.
Are we deciding that Ben Roethlisberger's in the Hall of Fame?
He's won 2 Super Bowls. Yeah, 2 Super Bowls.
It's just like super problematic though. But I guess we won't go.
No,
he's above the other. He's above the other 2 we talked about last week.
In the Hall of Fame, in the Hall on his way to the bathroom, both.
Also,
maybe we can just take the Hall of Fame thing away from him because of like the things that he's done. But like also, by the way, best career year of Ben Roethlisberger in the NFL this year so far. He's playing out of his mind right now. But anyway, also, he's awful as a person, so I hate him.
But he is awful. They have a Hall of Fame quarterback. That place is a wide receiver factory. I don't know what they do, but they just always have good wide receivers.
It's a good franchise.
They draft well. They coach well. I mean, so I think I would love if the Steelers listen. Anybody but the 72 Dolphins, Dave. So Leah, I hope you're listening. I hope you guys go 19-0 because I never want to hear about Mercury Morris
ever
and pulling into the house ever again. So do it. I hope
wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great if we had this as Patriots fans? Like, think about this for all the Patriots fans watching and listening. Wouldn't it be phenomenal if the Pittsburgh Steelers went 16-0 and the New York Jets went 0-16 in the same season?
That part, yes.
In the first year that Tom Brady left New England and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers could win a Super Bowl.
As a Patriots fan, if it's going to be anyone, it should be the Steelers because that's the franchise that's on the level of you guys. That's the franchise. Yeah, I am engaged to a Steelers fan, as you just called out, Mike. Yep. I've spent my entire life around Patriots fans. When I talk about the Bears, when Bobby talks about the Cowboys, it's a different thing. When Steelers fans and Patriots fans talk to each other, it's like pistols at dawn. It's like the end of Hamilton. You know what I mean? Like it's so serious. It's the tension. You could cut it with a knife. Those are the 2 best franchises of the past 20 years. The fact that you're calling out that it would be great if it was the Steelers above anyone else. Really, you should tell that to the identity of your franchise because, as we talked about earlier.
Oh, I'm just saying the Steelers and the Jets going 16-0 in the same season.
Well, I just think that the Steelers are probably like the model franchise of the NFL, right? They've been relevant for every decade since the 70s. They really have,
100%.
They really have not sucked. And like Mike Tomlin almost got them to the playoffs last year without Ben Roethlisberger. They went.
What's your opinion, Mike? Honestly, what's your opinion of Mike Tomlin as a head coach? Say it out loud from the bottom of your heart. Do you think he's a good head coach or not?
Yes. Gun to my head, yes. I think he's. I don't know what he's.
Would you have said the same thing 2 years ago?
Yeah. But here's the thing. Like, I don't know. But
Ray, I can see in his face. Ray has something to say about that.
I think Mike Tomlin can get players to play above their ability, but I don't know what he schemes. If that makes sense.
Okay. Thank you. You redeemed yourself a little bit there. So he's a motivator and a leader of men, as people love to say now in sports media. Like he's a leader of men, but if you're saying I needed to put together X's and O's, I'm not worried about Mike Tomlin. That's why every time they came to Pittsburgh, when Pittsburgh came to New England under his tenure, and when it's mattered, they got smacked. So that's the thing. Is he
you're basing it off of recent history though? He's getting better and better as years go on.
I'm basing off what I've saw. No, you know that, but you asked what you said that 2 years ago. I'm asking that because when we played him in the AFC Championship games. When Antonio Brown was out there making Facebook Live videos instead of, talking about what are we going to do next week, they came into New England, Brady gets the flea flicker, those are the Chris Hogan, and that was the end of their season. So, we go back to, that was Bill Cowher era, but we can go back to Bill Cowher's era. They have not been New England when it's mattered. Period.
Guys, here's why the great motivator Steelers, as a Patriots fan, this is about to come out of my mouth. Here's why. Since the Patriots became a franchise in 1960, November 2nd, 1959, but who's counting? Since the day they became a franchise, the Pittsburgh Steelers, regardless The Patriots would have to win a 7th Super Bowl to be considered the best franchise in NFL history, because the Pittsburgh Steelers are the best franchise in NFL history. And what goes to show that is kind of back to what Rayshawn just said, but in another way. Sure, they haven't been able to beat the Patriots when it matters in the last 20 years. You guys do realize that they have the shortest head coaching list in the history of the NFL, right?
Yeah.
They have had 3 head coaches since 1969, and all of them are above 500 in not only the regular season, but also the playoffs.
Yeah. Honestly, if we're saying anyone's the San Antonio Spurs of the NFL, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers.
But that's a fair comparison, because I don't think anybody hates the San Antonio Spurs, where people actually hate the New York Yankees and the New England
Mavericks
Patriots.
fans do, but yeah, sure.
I also think, to your point, DK, I think
Steelers
fans hates Patriot fans more than we hate them.
Oh,
I think that's true.
Without a doubt, because I think
new to the party, only because you're new to the party, I think.
Give it a few more
of this
years.
Identity issue that we were talking about earlier,
No, but
Pittsburgh fans.
It's true, Dave, because like I hated the Colts, hated them.
Yeah,
I don't,
because they were your rival, but not because of the franchise. Because Peyton Manning v. Tom Brady was the rival, though.
But I don't hate Pittsburgh. Like I said on an earlier episode,
You respect him though. That's why.
Cordell Stewart was my guy. Slash was my guy.
I love the
number
bus.
10 jersey. Jerome
Personally, for me, I love
Tommy Maddox.
I thought the bus was something.
Tommy Maddox. Jeez, what a casual name drop there, Dave.
I hated Terry Bradshaw though, back when I was alive in the 70s.
I think Steelers fans hate us more because they've always been at that elevation, right? They've
no
always
one
been
was
there.
Except for
Nobody
the 80s.
was there but them.
Except for the
Nobody was
80s.
there but them. Yeah.
Except for the 80s, to be honest.
They've always been a perennial relevant franchise in the NFL for
now the
better or
Patriots
for
are
worse.
that. And now the
then
Patriots
out
are
of
that
nowhere, the Patriots became, like what you said earlier, they became the best over the last 20 years. So like there was
100%.
that tension from Steelers fans. For us, like for the first part, like the first 3 years, like we were just happy to be there, right? It just so happened that we had to beat you twice to get there, or the Steelers fans. But after that, it was like whatever.
Well, I honestly think Steelers fans respect the Bill Belichick, Tom Brady era as a team, but I think that their opinion is they really don't respect the franchise yet.
Yeah, that's fair.
I really think that if the Patriots are able to adjust and take a Cam Newton team, say, to the playoffs deep, to the AFC Championship game, take some sort of team that doesn't involve Tom Brady or somehow involves a new era of the Patriots, then you'll be on the radar of the Steelers fan base, if that's your point,
What we're gonna do? We're gonna take that and just say that just shut up and host, right? So we've now touched on Leah's Steelers, and I think to that end, I think
the invisible seventh member of the
that's right.
Sports Wrap.
I think Dave has made a great point, because not only has Dave made this point about the Steelers, but he's really brought it full circle with what we really started this show with, is an identity crisis of Patriots fans, because the Patriots have not been a relevant franchise for nearly as long as the Steelers have. But the nice thing that we can write home about as Patriots fans is that every franchise has and will have a bad year, and they will have bridge years, and they will have rebuilding periods.
Now you're getting it.
And that's no. I mean, I've always understood that, but I think you were also right in the sense that, and I think that this was always kind of inherently apparent that you were right about this, is that Patriots fans didn't think it was going to happen this quickly. But to Bobby's point, Bill Belichick is smarter than people give him credit for, even though everybody thinks that Bill Belichick is really smart. So now that we have gone 11 minutes over, we've gone into the third hour of the Sunday Night Sports Wrap for the first time under the Missing the Point name. And Craig has probably cursed us in his head a million times. But Craig, guess what? We have at least 5 more minutes, because now it is time for what everyone looks forward to on the live Sunday Night Sports Wrap once a month. For the first time under the new Missing the Point name, we have the one and only State of the Sizzle. Go ahead, Dave.
As if I haven't talked enough tonight, but thank you, Joe. Gentlemen, here we are again, and the State of the Sizzle is wild, I'll be honest. In the NFL, nobody is good, and everyone is good. In a wild 2020 with COVID, elections, murder hornets, etc., the craziest thing, it turns out, is sports. If sports are a reflection of the society in which we live, often retrospectively, in the most inspirational way, see Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier, Jim Abbott throwing a no-hitter with one hand, Lou Gehrig's farewell speech. It seems they are doing a wonderful job of smashing expectations here in the year of smashed expectations. The year of the Patriots being under 500, the year of the Steelers starting quarterback coming off a major surgery and setting a franchise winning record, the year of no fans was supposed to be the year of no fun, but it turns out that the catch rule fucked up America's game more than no fans, because the no fans league is wild. I love this sports restart, don't you? It's no consequences. The teams that were supposed to be good suck. The teams that were supposed to suck, Mike, the Lions, are shockingly okay / bang average, but so glad they're here. As I often say, sports are great. They make life a little easier to digest, a little milk after some pepper. And while they reflect what's going on in the world, they make things a little easier to live with. I'm happy to help with you, beautiful people, be a conduit to something that is good but isn't good, to something that matters but doesn't matter. Sports. Human nature is reflected in the pageantry and elegance of sports, and our personalities are reflected in how much we miss the point. If you're down with MTP, yeah, you know me. Welcome to the new era of life, liberty, and the pursuit of sports chat. The state of the sizzle is all relative. Thank you, and welcome to Missing the Point.
Wow, way to put in every
Nice.
single one of the key phrases, Dave. You're
Right.
Awesome.
Brilliant. So, guys, we have finally reached the end of the Sunday Night Sports Wrap, and what a good way to go out with the state of the sizzle that we get only once a month now, that we used to get once a week back in the day. But we really do want to say thank you, as Dave just said. Thank you to everybody for listening, following, being a part of the journey. From the olden days to the new days to now. We have so much engagement on social media. We have so much conversation between all of us, and it's been phenomenal. And Dave really summed it up there. And the sports of 2020 have really allowed us to have the exact conversations we just had tonight, which was very heated. And as always, Dave brings out the worst in all of us. So, for the final thoughts of everybody, I would like to start this evening with, and I hope he prepared something, because I just saw him pull his mic closer to his face. But now in hour 3, Craig, give us your final thoughts and help us elongate this show as much as possible.
Why would I want to do that? You guys have tortured me so far. You know how long it's actually not going to take me that long. I'm glad that the show has gone off as well as I knew it would. It's just important for everyone to remember that it's the exact same show. Nothing's going to change for us. We'll still be here every month on the second Sunday. New shows every week. We got quivers and the arrows ready to go. Nothing's changing unless one of you all quit and everything just falls apart. But we got plenty to come.
Plenty to come for sure, and it's arrows in the quiver. Ray, go ahead with your final thought.
Gosh, love you guys for real, man. No, thank you guys for those that have listened. If you've been on here so far, listened for this long, we say thank you. If you listen to later on in the week, we say thank you. Mike, you'll appreciate where I'm going with this, but this is another one for the good guys, and you're here to see the MTP.
Love that. All right, Bobby Kelly, go right ahead.
Didn't hate that at all.
No.
So I know it's been a quiet night for me, but I can't give more credit to these guys for taking all my fire, because you guys were on point tonight, and I want to point that out. You guys were on fire and killing it from moment one tonight. That was awesome. Second point is, I don't know if everyone just saw it, but DeAndre Hopkins just made the greatest game-winning catch I've ever seen.
Oh, I'm sorry, my newest fantasy edition?
I had a whole new end of the show point that I was going to make, but I watched that play, and I was like, that needs to be my final point. That was the best Hail Mary catch I've seen in a very long time. That was unreal.
So Twitter exploded when that catch happened, and it's literally
unreal.
like you can't see anything else.
Unreal catch.
Mike, what are your final thoughts here tonight?
So obviously, I echo everyone's sentiments. I think that everyone brought it tonight. It was awesome to see people that are not normally as fired up as they are tonight fired up. So that was great. My real final word though is this whole fake narrative that Doc Rivers was traded. He asked to be traded. He said he wanted to be here for a rebuild. DK, okay, and Rayshawn. Just remember that he did not want to take part in it. He left. He asked to leave, and he didn't win a damn thing since. So thank you. It was a pleasure being around you guys this evening.
So I just want to say I don't think I've ever been on the defensive as much as I was tonight. I don't literally since we've been on the radio, and of course I'm like, Ray, back me up, but Rayshawn's always the one that's like, not getting involved, even though he starts the fire and then he walks away.
That was me tonight.
Like,
I'm like, yo, I'm
like, all right, guys, see you later. You deal with it now. Your problem. But no, guys, to everybody out there, we've harped on it a lot, but we appreciate you for staying around. Our new name, Missing the Point. Again, just to recap, it'll be in the show notes below, but Instagram at _ Missing the Point, on Twitter at _ MTP podcast. If you're watching us on Facebook, you know where we are, but if you don't, facebook.com/missing the points, our new website, www.mtpshow.com. And thank you again to Little Bit of Heart for the shirts. Thank you to all our supporters that have been with us and follow everything we do. And really, guys, I mean, this was a good one. We're going on 2 hours and 20 minutes. There's Date with the MTP. There we go.
Right.
Per usual, everybody enjoy your week, enjoy your time. We're coming up on the holidays. They're going to look a lot different this year. We could all be having a Friendsgiving over Zoom just to have some family around. So once again, we appreciate all of you who watch, listen, support, download. Please go to www.mtpshow.com. You can find us anywhere you listen to your podcasts. We've really touched on a lot of great topics here, and we have so much more coming for you in the future. Nothing is going to change, only the name. The faces stay the same. Thank you again, Rayshawn Buchanan, Mike Marcangelo, Dave Clarke, Craig D'Alessandro, the best EP in the game, and Bob Kelly. I am Joe Malkin. We'll talk at you next time.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Missing the Point. Missing the Point is a 1 hour weekly, 2 hour monthly podcast recapping the biggest stories in the world of sports with a New England flavor. The show notes and transcript of today's episode can be found in the description box below, as well as on our website, www.mtpshow.com. If you're new to the show, consider subscribing. It's the easiest way to see when we publish new episodes. We are on iTunes, Spotify, Google, and wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to rate us and leave a review of any of our shows. We always appreciate your feedback. Also, be sure to follow us on all of our social medias. All of our links will be in the show notes. And be sure to check out our brand new website, www.mtpshow.com. That's mtpshow.com. For Missing the Point, I'm Craig D'Alessandro. We'll talk to you next time.
If you're a working professional wondering what's next for your career, you've come to the right place. Whether you're looking for a promotion, growth, or a potential career transition, look no further. With over 30 years working in a variety of industries, I share my insider knowledge with those ready to get ahead on Career Advancement with Craig Ansell. Tune in to get your strategies for success.
Hey, it's Tim from 50 Years of Music with 50-Year-Old White Guys, the comedy podcast you had no idea you needed. Join Ben, Jeff, and me as we continue our musical road trip back through the years and around the globe. See, just when you thought all white guys were like Joe Rogan, you come across 3 educators trying to remember when we were cool.
50 Years of Music with 50-Year-Old White Guys.
Electricast.